coming to you live from wherever. It's the Ticket Booth Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Tonight is a late edition of the Ticket Booth Podcast. It's been a while. Been a long while. This is actually the first one of 2020. And there's a lot going on in the news, particularly how we are actually all out because as this recording, I'm sure you all are aware, well, by the time this recording goes up, this shit will all be blown over, but coronavirus, it's out there.
Wash your motherfucking hands.
I am your lovely host, Gwen Bevington.
My name is Amy, and before I let anybody else introduce themselves, here's a word from our sponsor, Loot Crate.
No, Safe Auto. Safe Auto. Please.
No water.
Pornhub.
I'm Jeff, the movie man, the editor. We got 2 backlog episodes before this that have never been released. My apologies. That's my fault for being a lazy fuck.
It's okay. We get you.
Yeah,
we love you, Jeff.
Be like that sometimes.
I have a life too.
It really do feel like that sometimes.
It really do be like that.
Good evening, Twitter. This is your boy, Eat That Pussy 445. And about 30 to 45 minutes ago, I beat the fuck out.
Yes, film Twitter. We got Eat That Pussy 445 on the podcast.
His favorite movie of last year was imagine Eat That Pussy 445. Well, he didn't. Well, I mean, he actually did a review on The Hateful Eight for me. You know.
I'm pretty sure his favorite movie of 2018 was Green Book.
His favorite movie of 2019 was probably I don't fucking know. Yes. Anyway, who's last?
I think it's me.
Who's me?
But I'm Steph. I'm not a regular here, so.
I mean, you were on a while ago.
I was on a while ago, but hi, I'm Steph, and this has been a long time. But hi, I'm so happy to be here.
So happy to have you back.
We are so
Thank
insanely
you.
happy. Couldn't be happier.
Thank you.
Couldn't be happier to have the sweetest person in the world on this Notice edition.
Hey!
Oh, thank you.
Let's move on to some film A's.
Yes.
Some good old cinema. Martin Scorsese approved.
With a little recap of our top picks of 2019.
Okay, so so far the year is fucking shit. That's not even a joke. This year's actually been terrible.
Aside from Parasite winning Best Picture,
so far the year's ass. I'm hoping that it gets a lot better. So far it's a good year for movies, and we already have.
Hopefully, we'll be able to go outside again.
Oh yeah,
we will.
It's gonna take a while.
Won't.
In terms of last year was a shit year for a lot of things, but it was a fantastic year for movies. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
so many great films.
Yes.
So many great. I had a hard time doing my ranking. My ranking was tough, man.
I'm gonna be honest here. 2019, out of all the years of the last decade, from what I've seen, 2019 might be the best year for movies in the last decade.
High five on that one, baby.
Yeah.
I completely
There's
agree.
just so much good cinema.
There's so many, like, to the point where I couldn't even consider. We're gonna do 10 because we actually did a huge list covering all the actual great films. We'd be here all day, or all night. And we're like, it's just like this is kind of like a basic recapping of all the great stuff we saw this year. Of course. This isn't official. This isn't like an official critic list. We're not trying to consider ourselves professionals. This is kind of like a basic bitch kind of like list of recaps from the best stuff. But
yeah.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com.
Of course, there's stuff we all missed out on. Sadly, I wish that I saw more. I know that's the excuse everyone makes. I even hate people who do that. Like, oh, I could have seen this movie, but I didn't. But the thing is, like I said, this isn't an official critic list. This is just kind of like a fun little thing to recap our favorite films of the year that we've seen, at least. So, simple shit. With that being said, here are our top 10 films of last year.
So I think what we're going to do is we're each going to go in order, and each go with our number 10s, then our number 9s, and so on and so on.
I'll have 2 number 9s. Number 9 large, number 6 extra dip.
So join us at WatchMojo.com for the best films of 2019.
I saw 103 movies from last year.
Holy shit, you have no life.
103.
I saw 120-something 2018 movies. So.
Damn.
Wow.
I've seen 22 films of 2019, at least like 55% of which was in 2020. Because I'm lazy and I don't have the money to go to the theater every fucking week like you bitches.
It's okay, Amy. It's okay. You're still a true film buff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
Who's gonna do the first number 10?
Me,
Gwen,
because
naturally.
Should we do
Because
honorable mentions as
I'm the
well?
host. Actually, I was about to mention. So I got some honorable mentions because there's so much good stuff I want to give. I feel bad I'm leaving some stuff out. So I will actually give some honorable mentions. I'm going to give 10. I'll run through them quickly. So some 10 films that I love from last year that hurt me not to put on the list. Of course, a lot of these films everyone's seen, except for the ones that are underappreciated. So 10 films that hurt not to put on the list are Beach Bum, Climax, Blinded by the Light, The Art of Self-Defense, Booksmart, Honey Boy, The Farewell, The Irishman. This fucking hurt not to put on my list. Us, and 1917. Those are 10 films that hurt not to put on the list, but so much good came from the year. The one that really hurt me not to put on the list was The Irishman. I'm still wondering if I made a mistake not putting The Irishman in my top 10.
Well, here are a few that I wish I could have put on my list, but they didn't make the cut. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Peanut Butter Falcon, The Art of Self-Defense, Climax, Us, 1917, and The Farewell, which was just barely bumped out of my list. It was my number 10 for a while, but I just barely bumped it out for what it now is.
Okay, so I'm going to name every movie I gave a 6 out of 10 or above, because a 6 out of 10 is still a positive rating.
Absolutely.
And I did enjoy it.
Fuck you.
So, going from the bottom up to the highest, my number 16, from 43. Ready or Not, Unicorn Sword, this is in ascending order. Zombieland Double Tap, Far From Home, The Report, Ford vs. Ferrari, Hustlers, Fighting With My Family, Joker, Toy Story 4, Extremely Wicked, and whatever the fuck.
No one wants to call it by its full title. It's just the Ted Bundy movie.
The Zac Efron Ted Bundy movie. Klaus, Honey Boy, Shazam, Assassin, Beach Bum, Lego Movie Part 2, the second part, A Hidden Life, Endgame, Loose, John Wick 3, Us, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, The Art of Self-Defense, Under the Silver Lake, Jojo Rabbit, Knives Out, and High Life. So since I forgot, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Farewell, Rocket Man, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and Brad Astra.
Brad Sad Dad Astra.
Brad Astra.
Brad Sad Dad Glad Astra.
I'm going to go 20 through 11 for my honorable mentions, and I'm going to go through them really quick. Number 20, Joker. Number 19, Lego Movie 2. Number 18, Toy Story 4, though those two can be interchangeable, to be honest. 17, Us. 16, Ford v Ferrari. 15, Honey Boy. 14, Knives Out. 13, The Irishman. 12, 1917, and 11, Jojo Rabbit, which that last one, Jojo Rabbit is the one that really fucking hurt me to leave out of the top 10. Oh, Steph, what do you have for honorable mentions?
So it's Downton Abbey, Joker, Hustlers, Ad Astra, Toy Story 4, The Irishman, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Ready or Not, Knives Out, Us, and my last one is at 11, which is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Neat.
All right.
So, are we done? So, since we're done with all the honorable mentions, I'm going to go on with my fucking terrible list.
You need an amazing list, Gwen?
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's start with our number 10.
I'm going to start with my number 10. That is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Hey.
Nice.
This is a film that I was hyped for. I'm not insanely hyped for it. Well, I would say I was looking forward to it, but I didn't really know much about it necessarily going in. All I knew about it was that it was a lesbian film, and I just knew like the basic summary of the not summary, basic like one word synopsis. So I didn't know much going in. All I knew was just that it was a period piece, which I usually love. Well, usually when they're great at least, and keep my attention. And so I went in, and fucking holy shit, I was blown away. The visual aesthetic of this movie is gorgeous. There's a lot of beautiful shots. The way it uses music, there isn't that much music used. There's not like an official score. When music is used, it's used very effectively and very brilliantly. Like at times, it even feels like a horror movie in terms of the way the tone's established. And the performances are all great. And the way that the relationships develop, like you actually buy their chemistry and you actually truly feel like they love each other, which is not something that's really in. Well, I mean, I don't necessarily. Sometimes in a lot of romances nowadays, I don't necessarily feel the actual kind of relationship. Like, it's just developed and built in a way that just feels so human and realistic. I couldn't help but connect with it. Like, so the performances are great. Movies that have a slow enough pace, but like if you are able to get yourself invested in the story, the characters, you're able to go along for the ride easily. And it's very like it is slow, but like in a way that's more so mellow than anything else. The plot progression is great, and just the way every it just all feels so effective in the way in terms of presentation. The directing's fantastic. I would have loved to see Celine Sciamma, or I probably butchered that name, get a Best Director nomination. Oh, Sciamma. There's so many women that could have been nominated this year's Oscars. I mean, that goes without saying. Yeah. The one that I thought could have gotten nominated, I would have loved to see Celine Sciamma. Again, I probably butchered her name.
That would be nice.
If it would have nominated for like Best Director, Best Picture, Best Cinematography, that would have been amazing. But again, it's a great. You've probably already heard enough of Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It's so great. I'm probably doing a bad job describing it, but it's fucking great. Go watch it if you haven't.
My number 10. This was a long struggle. It used to be The Farewell for a long while, but then the film right next to it weighed on my mind even more, and I felt like it had more of an impact for me, so I decided to change it. And so now my number 10 is Midsummer.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that movie.
I really,
Me too.
really dug this movie. People say they prefer Hereditary. Honestly, I prefer this. This one did more for me.
Fucking
personally.
same.
Yeah, it slaps
I
so
felt like
hard.
I got it more. I got what it was going for. I got how it uniquely approached the subject of a toxic relationship with such haunting imagery and the tone and just Florence Pugh. This is the movie that really made me realize, oh shit, this person.
She's like amazing.
She's incredible. Now she's an Academy Award nominee, deservedly so.
Future Academy Award winner.
Yes. And the score, oh my god, that final sequence with that score and everything it may be one of my favorite endings to a movie in a while.
Midsommar grows on me a bit. I know in our original podcast.
Release the director's cut on Blu-ray in the US, you coward.
In our original podcast, I said I liked it, but I did feel a bit disappointed by it because I love Hereditary so much. But the more I think about it, I mean, I don't think it's a perfect film, and I do think it's a bit weaker compared to Hereditary. But I do think it's still a very good film and definitely worthy of being on you guys' list.
My number 10 is Gaspar Noé's Climax.
Ooh.
I am really fascinated by not just him, but like filmmakers whose movies really disturb you and like put you in like the most like uncomfortable positions whilst watching it. Nicholas Winding Refn, David Lynch, Gaspar Noé. Like, I mean, I love Irreversible. That movie's in like my top 30 of all time, despite it being so disturbing. Like, it's so disturbing, but it's such a unique experience. Enter the Void is also like phenomenal. In Climax, it's kind of theatrical in a way because like, let me put this into context. Most people wouldn't know unless I told you, but I'm kind of a theater guy, a theater nerd. Like, I love like Sondheim and Lin-Manuel and Andrew Lloyd Webber and all these like stage productions and such. This movie felt like a highly, highly choreographed like stage production in a certain sense, which really works because like this movie is not just like about dancers, but it's like the dance choreography really plays into how the characters are reacting to what they're seeing, which we don't ever see. And I think that really adds to the horror elements of this movie. And like this is like maybe the most disturbing movie of the entire year, other than Midsommar, which I'll be talking about more later. But like the thing about this film is that like it's uncomfortable. You don't necessarily feel good while watching it, but you can't take your eyes off the screen. And that is largely due to the cinematography by, I can't pronounce his name, and of course the choreography here. The sound design to this movie is like imperative, especially like sound mixing, because like you would not be so sucked into the absurdity that happens in this movie if the sound wasn't so like on point.
One thing that you're not mentioning that I also love about the movie is how the usage of lawn takes really allows you to just take in the horror of what's going on instead of just cutting away.
I was about to get into that. Like, the opening, like, dance number of the film. It's all one take. The camera is moving all these crazy places. It's moving up above the crowd and everything like that. It really just puts you in the mindset of these characters who are, like, you don't know what they're seeing, but, like, you know that they're going crazy because of what they're seeing. And again, the choreography really plays into that very well. Also, the performances of this movie. Holy fuck. This movie should have gotten like a SAG Ensemble nomination at least, because this is like one of the best ensembles of the year, hands down. Everyone is fully immersed in their game, and without these performances, I don't think we would have. It would have been this scary or as effective. I don't like it as much as Irreversible or Enter the Void, but like it made me love Gaspar Noé even more, which is the weirdest thing to say. I hated the Black Panther.
Oh, I can't wait for fucking. Imagine if like Noah Centineo actually appears in one of his movies. Like he's asking
Stop.
to all the boys I loved before 3, directed by Gaspar Noé.
I'd love to branch out and do some more auteur work, like with filmmakers like Gaspar Noé.
Imagine to all the boys I loved before 3, directed by Gaspar Noé.
Oh
Someone spikes the punch bowl at the prom.
That would at least make me interested.
Or it's like one of his shitty Netflix movies, just directed by Gaspar Noé.
Oh my god, that would be so hilarious.
Oh, I fucking love. You know what? Even make
Academy Award.
Make like a fucking like sketch of it, like an SNL sketch, like parodying that. Not an SNL, they're not funny enough now. I don't know. Make like some kind of like parody
Jackass.
sketch.
Get Jackass.
Yeah. Why the fuck not? It's like one of their stunts, like imagine like they intentionally spike themselves and see what happens.
The movie's really like theatrical, and I love that about the film, and like it really adds to like the horror elements of it. And it's my number 10 of the year, but I've got 2 other horror movies on my list.
Now it's my fucking turn. And funnily enough, my number 10 is another excellent horror movie. And it's genuinely one of the most disturbing things I ever had to witness. It's at number 10 for my favorites of the year. We have Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse.
Yeah!
It's a... The Lighthouse is just... the best way I can describe it is like watching an extremely fucking bad car wreck that killed many people. It's just so fucking disturbing, but you can't help but watch it, if that makes any fucking sense.
Like a car wreck with beautiful cinematography.
Yeah, and also great performances by fucking Jesus Christ and that vampire from Twilight.
From Twilight.
They're both so like Willem Dafoe actually did play Jesus, and Robert Pattinson is also my Jesus. They're both my Jesuses.
Very epic.
We got Batman and the Green Goblin.
Fuck yeah, Batman and the Green Goblin. And The Lighthouse, it's genuinely one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. It's just, it makes sense because the film actually began as an adaptation of an unfinished Edgar Allan Poe story. And while the final film has very little resemblance to that story, it did leave a big impact on the general tone of the film.
Well, of course, it takes inspiration from a lot of like old stories, which Robert Eggers I know has a fascination with, and it adds a lot to it. Also, like I'll discuss The Lighthouse more. Well, oh shit, I'm not going to spoil where it is.
Okay, this is Lighthouse, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, number 10 for me is The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
It has a lot of like Greek mythology symbolism in it too.
Yeah, plenty of that.
But like Gwen, I'll be talking about Lighthouse more later on.
The final shot is inspired by, I can't remember, was it Prometheus? No, not Prometheus. Well, of course, not the Ridley Scott's Prometheus, but that'd be weird.
Yeah,
you get what I mean? Yeah, the old story.
Yeah, the cinematography, it's fucking brilliant. The production design is very amazing, and it's just an extremely well-made and disturbing film. And if you haven't already, I highly recommend you check it out. Even if anyone did get a deserved nomination for Best Cinematography, Pattinson and Dafoe definitely deserve nomination for their performance.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Fucking like
I'm gonna be honest.
One, honestly.
There's some of my favorite performances from the year, to be honest. But yeah,
both of them give fucking masterful performances.
Yeah. Defoe should have won, honestly.
Brad Pitt, great actor, a great performance.
Yeah.
But Defoe,
masterful.
He's amazing. Yeah. Anyways, and that's all I have to say about The Lighthouse. Steph, your turn for number 10.
So this was a tough one, but my number 10 is The Farewell by Lulu Wang.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Yep.
all right. I mean, I'm speechless just thinking about this film because I remember when I watched it, I was just like, holy crap, Awkwafina needs to start playing more of these type of roles.
Yes.
She needs to be taken seriously.
I love it so much.
Prove that she has the range. She can do comedic and dramatic.
So much range.
So good.
Yeah.
So much. And because I know, and I remember when I found out about Awkwafina, it was from Crazy Rich Asians, and then I went to listen to her music on Spotify. But seeing her in The Farewell is such an incredible experience because you guys said, she has the capability to be in serious films, and I wish people take her more seriously. So The Farewell is my top 10. So it's an interesting journey because it's an A24 film, and I'm a huge A24 film fan, and I actually have quite a few A24 films in my top 10 for 2019. Ooh. So if you think that this is the only one, there's some really good ones up there.
Let's fucking go.
That's all I have to say.
The Farewell, the winner of Best Picture at the not film festival, the
Independent Spirit Awards.
That, but also Amy, you know what I'm talking about. Amy,
you know
what I'm talking about? Yeah, at the annual first Angie's. So Farewell is the winner of Best Picture and Best Director. So we know it better than the Oscars.
Yeah.
Hashtag the Academy is over party. The Academy's canceled. Fucking canceled.
Zhao Shuzhen, they actually gave her a nomination for supporting actress, and how she did not get an Academy nomination, that pisses me off.
Hashtag an Oscar for Nene. Wait, or Nine.
Before we get on to number 9, I just want to say it completely boggles my fucking mind that the winners of both Golden Globes for both acting and actors and actresses in the fucking comedic categories, both of the winners didn't even get a fucking nomination.
I know, right? That's so fucking weird.
It is bullshit too. Both of them deserve to be nominated.
My number 9 is also an A24 film, so piggybacking on what Steph said. My number 9 is also a film by a woman. My number 9 is actually the first film that made high on the list before. High Life is actually really underappreciated. It was a film that, when it came out, some people on this app were really appreciating it, but then it seems like people kind of forgot about it. I mean, of course,
it was early in the year, so
also the box office for this film was fucking shit. But then again, it came out a week before Endgame, so you kind of get what you're paid for.
It had no chance.
So fuck you, A24. I love your movies, but you're a shit distributor, and you know it. Anyway,
you are. You honestly are.
High Life is a great, mind-boggling film. We did a podcast on it last year. Almost a year old that episode is, I think. We fucking all performances are great. Robert Pattinson proves that he's an amazing actor. He's become one of my favorites of all time. He's going to be the best Batman. If you want to at me in the comments, go ahead, because I'm going to read through all your comments. I'm going to roast you. Either I'll roast you or I'll not give you any attention. Anyway, he's going to be amazing. Mia Goth is so fucking good in this movie. I actually just saw her in Emma, so I was thinking a lot about how much I love Mia Goth.
Oh, she was so good in Emma.
Juliette Binoche is also great in this movie. Fucking Andre 3000 is in this movie, which I really love that he is. And he's surprisingly really good in it, even though he's not in for that long.
He's amazing,
the direction from Claire Denis is great. The cinematography is gorgeous. It's a film that's horrifying, very kind of graphic and violent and hard to really comprehend. It's easy to understand, but it's not something that everyone will appreciate. In fact, I remember when Mark saw this movie, he saw it before any of us did, and he said, "No, y'all are gonna hate this." No, I think he just said, "I'm gonna hate it," and he said there was a dude with an A24 hat in the theater, and he said, "This is garbage." So
what the fuck?
It seems like even some A24 stands aren't catching on to this one. I saw a normie finding their first indie movie. This is so out there, man. Smokes joint.
He's so different.
Yeah, like, have you ever heard of this little indie movie called Citizen Kane? Like, what the fuck?
Have you heard of this really obscure and underrated indie movie? It's called what's it called again? Oh yeah, it's called fucking the Wiz Odd of O's.
Oh my god, I love that movie. It's a bit of a theme. It's a bit of a theme park film.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a theme park film.
Well underrated.
Okay,
yeah, I don't see why many people talk about it. It won Best Original Song, I think.
Okay, you get what I mean. Also, this is what I'm kind of stammering about because I actually haven't seen this movie since I saw it in theaters. So I'm a bit blanking on some of the stuff I really loved about it. Though I really need to rewatch it. I do own it on Blu-ray, so I can easily rewatch it soon. Yeah, it had some gorgeous cinematography and really effective in a lot of moments, really effective score that really fit the movie perfectly. A lot of beautiful aesthetics. I loved the relationship between Robert Pattinson and his daughter, and the fucking creepy ass character played by Juliette Binoche and her plans for the people on the spacecraft and just everything the movie is trying to say. I love this movie, and Claire Denis, I need to see more of her work. Even though High Life is flawed,
Trouble every day.
Some of the effects aren't the best, but it's a low budget movie, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expected to be on the level of fucking 2001.
Oh no, not at all.
But whatever. I mean, still, it's a great movie. Please watch if you haven't. Which, I mean, unlike the rest of the films on this list, I'm sure not a lot of people actually have seen this because, like I said, it seems like a lot of people kind of forgot about it. Please watch if you haven't. Robert Pattinson is so fucking good in it, as the other people. And yeah, God bless Claire Denis.
So my number 9 is Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I was lucky enough to see this early at the New Orleans Film Festival. It was the opening night movie, and it was worth it. It was so sharply and expertly written and acted. Like, Adam Driver in this movie solidified him as my favorite actor. He is just amazing.
Yeah,
I
he's my
love
favorite
him.
actor.
I'm happy Joaquin got the Oscar, but I would have loved it if he won for this. I mean, it just balances comedy and drama perfectly, and I love how excellently it captures the whole chaotic feeling of the whole process of a divorce. It's just so realistic and dramatic and heart-wrenching, and I just love it. All the performances are great. Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, Laura Dern, our goddess Laura Dern.
What's up?
Yeah, this is just a fantastic movie.
My number 9 is Midsommar. So up until I saw another movie, Florence Pugh gave pretty much my favorite performance of the entire year. Because, like, it was like, she is so fucking good in this movie. Yeah, she is in pretty much everything. I have a huge hot take. I think Florence Pugh in this is better than Toni Collette in Hereditary. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Bruh.
Oh.
That's a hard choice.
I'm not sure I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, I have a huge hot take there. Not that Toni Collette isn't fantastic, because she is. Well, here's the thing about Midsommar, other than like Florence Pugh. Jeff, I don't know why you didn't bring this up. The cinematography.
Yes.
He's clapping.
Yeah. For real though, the cinematography is like it's gorgeous.
Amazing.
It's bright. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like the brightness of this movie, it's like with climax.
Brilliant use of daylight horror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like this, like there's a lot of horror movies that would work really well in black and white. Midsummer's one that would not work in black and white at all.
Oh
I
God,
know,
no,
right?
it could not.
Not at all.
You know what else wouldn't make Midsommar work? Watching it high.
Oh God.
I think
I think it would, but too well.
I mean,
yeah, probably would.
Have you tried it, Gwen? Is that why you're saying it?
A fun fact: Gwen almost got to watch Uncut Gems high.
Yeah, sadly, I didn't end up going.
Interesting.
But
but that may be a good thing, because apparently that thing was supposed to be today, and we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, so what the fuck? You know what I mean?
The cinematography is obviously like gorgeous. It's beautiful. Costume design and production design as well are fucking amazing. It really sells you on the fact that like this is an actual like midsummer festival,
Right.
and like in Sweden and such. And it enhances all the ritual scenes as well because of like a bunch of people were just wearing like normal ass clothing. It wouldn't really sell it as well. And then, like everything in this movie just kind of like escalates and escalates and escalates to the final shot, which is one of the best final shots of the entire year. By far.
Yeah.
The score, like Jeff mentioned as well, something that's really underlooked with this movie is the editing. Especially, especially during that dance sequence where they're dancing around the circle. The editing in that scene is so fucking good. It's one of the best edited scenes of the entire year, and I often go back and rewatch that scene just because of how incredible it is. It's actually maybe my favorite scene in the movie. The way it's constructed, the way it's edited, and things like that. And it's so well done as well. And certain things that happen in this movie, aside from that, are also really helped by the editing. If I had to really pinpoint one specific moment, other than that ending scene and other than the dance scene, there's a moment in like a tool shed or something where one of the characters walks in and they see one of the other like visitors who are going to that festival in a certain way involving his lungs. That imagery is forever burned in my mind. This movie is like incredible. I like it more than Hereditary. What more do I have to say about it? It's just a brilliant, effective horror movie. One of the most wholly original films of the year.
Definitely.
Now it's my turn. At number 9, we have Greta Gerwig's take on the 1886 novel Little Women.
Let's go!
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig, who is in this podcast as we speak.
Clearly.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, the one and only Greta Gerwig. So, before watching Little Women, I was not familiar in the slightest with the actual contents of the novel or the any other adaptation. I was going in expecting a decent 7, maybe 8 out of 10 film, but I was pleasantly surprised. It ended up becoming one of my 10 favorites of the year. It has pretty solid performances, and I just had a great time with it. The production design and the costume design was great, especially the costume design. The screenplay was pretty solid. The performances, especially the ones from Hugh and Ronan, were just great. And
yes.
And I just had an overall great time with the film, and I just don't. It's one of those films that I don't have much to say on, but it's just incredible.
The feeling of watching it is just kind of like a warm hug. Like it's like a warm hug of a movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
I saw the movie the day that the year was ending, so a nice way to end the year. Well, technically, it wasn't the last movie I watched that year. Or last year.
I don't know what you last watched in a year, but you last watched in a decade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, year and then. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, Philadelphia was actually my last watch of the year decade.
Yeah,
sorry,
but when it comes to like films from that year, that was the last one.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I have a lot to say about Little Women.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Anyways,
I love that.
yeah, your time to shine.
It's my time to shine. Well, I guess if it's my time to shine, I'm gonna have to make this really quick because you actually just spoke about this as your number 10.
Yes.
It's Lighthouse. It's The Lighthouse. That's my number 9.
Eat.
I'll just make it super fast. I still remember when I went into the theaters, and I think it was like 10 in the morning on a Friday when I went to see it. And there was like a bunch of old people in the cinema with me.
Oh yeah, when I saw it,
you boomers.
When I saw it, my theater was full of old people and kids.
And I was wondering if they knew what the context of the the film was about. But they were like coming in here and they were just like chilling, and I think I saw someone get up at like one point in the film
and not come back.
And not come back.
That happened to me at Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, that happened to me too.
But I mean I liked it because I like the way that the dimensions were for a film. And I guess it was this weird like chemistry between Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe that I don't know how to describe it, but I kind of liked it, and I kind of want to see them in more films together.
I ship them.
I ship them. I low-key thought they were going to get together in the film, though, if I'm going to be quite honest.
He's fond of him.
Oh, they
Sorry.
were totally gay.
He's fond
Oh,
of his
yeah.
lobster. Two
No.
bros chilling in a lighthouse, 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
I totally ship Batman and the Green Goblin.
I don't really have much to say besides the fact that Amy said a lot of it. So I'm like, I liked it. It was hard to. I couldn't see myself putting it anywhere else. You know, I couldn't put it in my top 20. I felt like it had to be in my top 10. Otherwise, I felt like it would have been like a sin.
Yeah.
Something about it that I liked. So yeah, that was my number 9. I'll have more things for the other movies because I'm more passionate about one in particular. I think you guys can probably figure which one that is.
Oh, I wonder. My number 8 is Jojo Rabbit.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Jojo Siwa's Bizarre Adventure.
Joe Joker.
Joe Joker. Jojo Joker.
No, Joe Joker. It's
Joe Joker. Joe Swanson.
Joe Mama.
Who is Joe though?
Joe Mama!
I intentionally spelled for. Okay, anyway.
No,
Joe,
I know. Ask who is Joe.
Who is Joe?
Big Joe Mama's house.
Joe Swanson from Family. Okay, well, what the fuck is this podcast anymore? Anyway, Jojo Rabbit is the new film from one of my favorite filmmakers, Taika Waititi, and also my biggest crush at the moment. This film is so fucking good, and film Twitter is dum-dums for thinking that is pro-Nazi because it's not.
You have to be a fucking idiot to think it's pro-Nazi.
Imagine if Blazing
You
Saddles
really do.
Imagine if Blazing Saddles came out today. The articles being like, "This is why Blazing Saddles is problematic, and Mel Brooks deserves to be canceled."
Exactly.
Hashtag Mel Brooks is over party.
I can't believe this racist piece of shit got past the fucking censors. What the fuck? I can't believe it.
Mel Gibson is more racist than Mel Brooks, and Mel Brooks made a movie that uses the N-word several times.
Oh, I'm sure Mel Gibson doesn't like Mel Brooks because Mel Brooks is Jewish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got him whipping nay. Anyway, but fucking, I hate to sound like this. People are too sensitive nowadays, but in film Twitter's case, they're kind of right because film Twitter loves to misinterpret. I can't even tell what they're doing. Are they just that stupid, or do they just want attention? I don't even know at this point.
It's fake outrage.
It's definitely fake outrage. I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore. Do they do this shit for attention? Like, they have to know that they are fucking reaching. They love posting out of context. You know, at this point, I think it's just probably to get aroused out of people. Be like, look at this out of context clip. This proves that this film is a complete offensive piece of shit. And if you like this, then you're a Nazi and you support ISIS.
Yeah, that's kind of sucky.
Very sucky indeed. Anyway, enough of my rant on that. If you don't like the movie, okay, it's your opinion. We can be friends. But if you don't like this movie and you think that's pro-Nazi, then honestly, go fuck yourself because you are an idiot. I'm sorry to sound so harsh, but I completely don't. I mean, you know what? If you have genuine reasons for thinking that's pro-Nazi, say it in the comments. Fuck it. I don't even know anymore. Okay, anyway, enough on the movie. I love the message of this movie. It's anti-hate message. I mean, I know that sounds like a normal thing to say, but like,
yeah.
I love how it shows a different perspective where it's kind of like showing these ideas that kids are shoved down their throat when they're kids in terms of like what it's like to be a kid growing up in Nazi Germany, where it's had these hateful, terrible ideas shoved down your throat, like these basic, of course, the terrible ways of the Nazis, and showing that, you know, Jojo, like, he's not really a Nazi. He just fucking thinks that he is, but really he's destined to be a good person, but he thinks that, you know, he can't go against the values he's been taught, but, you know, he decides to fight against it and be like, no, this is fucked up, this is wrong. And I think really the war scene is really kind of where Roman Griffin Davis's performance kind of really shines and shows. Well, between that and the shoe scene, which if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
By far
my God.
By far the biggest fucking gasp I had in a movie in a while.
I think my brother and I cried.
How could you fucking not? And it's kind of like Roman Griffin Davis' performance. Like, I think, at least in the war scene, kind of shows, you see through his emotions, how he's just changed. He's phased by showing like he himself is knowing he's changing, and he doesn't know any better because he's a kid. So he doesn't know. If you're a kid in Nazi Germany, you're really taught to think those ideas are right, even though they're not. So now Jojo wants to rebel, and between that and now he realizes that he's a sweet, innocent kid. He's not a Nazi, but he thinks that he's just because he wants to be a cool part of the club. And also it's comparable, I guess, to other, you could say, redemptions, even though it's not really redemption. More so, it's kind of like changing one's mindset is kind of like, because JoJo hasn't done anything terrible. Well, of course, he's hateful. He has a hateful mindset throughout the movie. What I mean is, like, he hasn't killed anyone. He just has a terrible mindset because of what he's been taught. So I mean, like, it's easy for someone's mind to be changed like that. I'm viewing the movie, and also it's filled with a lot of funny comedy, a lot of funny dark comedy, brilliant satirical elements, terrific performances. I can't wait to see what Roman Griffin Davis does next. Scarlett Johansson gives one of her best performances to date. Thomasin McKenzie's great. Taika's great. Taika Nation. Yes, we stand.
Academy Award winner. Taika
Yes.
Waititi.
Oh my god, I was so happy. I was so fucking happy.
Garbage.
Fuck yeah. Oh my god.
This is a Taika Stan Club only.
Yes. If you hate Taika, then fuck you. A lot of people complain that, like, the tone wasn't really working. I mean, like, I can see the complaint kind of, because I mean, like, I can see why someone would think that the dramatic third act with the comedic first two acts kind of, doesn't really jive too well. I can see that someone thinking that, but I didn't really think that was the case. I think it was could it have probably been a little bit developed better? Oh, maybe. I mean, that's probably my biggest flaw with the movie overall. And also I think maybe at times it tries a little bit too hard to be like Wes. I mean, not too hard, but at times it's kind of a little bit derivative Wes Anderson style. But whatever. You just kind of like Taika Waititi's so kind of his own style that it feels weird seeing him borrow so much from Wes. Yeah. But whatever. Yeah. Voice crack. Great performances, great writing, great directing. Like I said, you could say it's derivative of Wes Anderson. I do love the general aesthetic. I love, and like, also one thing is, like, especially how it's basically from Joe's perspective. So of course, it looks a lot more like, bright and colorful compared to other war movies. Which I mean, people could say, like, it's the wrong tone for a movie about Nazis, but again, this is satire and it's dark comedy, for one. Also, it's supposed to be set from Joe's perspective, so it makes sense. And also, another thing I was going to mention. Oh, also because, like, the look of the movie also gets a bit dreary during the actual war scenes, which also kind of fits because the scenes where his perspective, where he thinks it's positive, are, like, so a lot more bright.
It's not treating the war. It's not treating the war itself as a joke. It's treating the Nazis as a joke.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, the actual war. I mean, like, yeah, of course the Nazis are used as a joke, and because I mean, yeah. And the best PG-13 F-bomb in history. I don't want anyone to argue. There's clearly no other contenders.
It's up there.
Name a better PG-13 F-bomb. Fucking
Social Network.
Oh god.
That's up there, but what other PG-13 F-bomb is better
I can't think of anything else
than kicking Hitler out of fucking window? I really just loved a lot of what this movie was saying with, changing your mindset, what you're taught versus what's right. And God, I loved it. Everything about it. Please watch Judge Rabbit if you haven't. Yes.
Love
Also great score, and great use of music.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, sorry for droning on so long. Who's next?
I believe I'm next with my number 8.
Yep, Jeffrey's next.
Mine is A Hidden Life. I also saw this at the New Orleans Film Festival. I got to see it. Well, I didn't see it before George, but I saw it before the rest of you.
Fuck you.
You didn't see JoJo before me either. Just for the record. I also at the film festival.
I thought this was such a beautiful movie. I mean, I haven't gotten myself big into Terrence Malick, although I have seen Tree of Life. Thank you, Gwen.
You're very welcome.
This is very much more narratively and conventionally accessible because it has more of a narrative through line. Nevertheless, Malick's talents are on full display because this is such a beautiful, heartbreaking story, and it's a long, long movie, but Malick takes advantage of the runtime to let you soak in the emotions of these characters and everything they're going through, and I think it works beautifully in that regard. I mean, if anyone else had directed this, it probably would have been a much more standard film, but Malick just makes it something otherworldly and beautiful, and I just loved it.
My number 8 is Uncut Gems.
Yeet.
Listen, Adam Sandler, he gets a lot of shit for a lot of the movies that he does. When you look at some of his other stuff, he's a pretty good actor. He's just done a lot of shit. And, like, Uncut Gems, he gives one of his best performances, if not his best. I mean, Punch Drunk Love is hard to beat, but he's playing this dude who is ridiculous. Let's be honest, he's fucking ridiculous. You know, so he's not unsimilar from Adam Sandler's other characters, but like it's also something that Sandler hasn't necessarily done before. He hasn't done something with this like high number of energy, and like the Safdies were the perfect directors to be able to pull this off, because after seeing what they did with Good Time, which I said this was better than Good Time after watching it, but now I think about it, I think Good Time's probably a little bit better. Like, after seeing that, I was like, they are just really, really good at making, like, really, really intense, anxiety-inducing sequences in their film. In a similar way to Climax, the sound mixing of this movie plays a huge role in its effectiveness, specifically, like, its tension. Like, there's this huge club scene where everyone is just screaming at the top of their lungs over each other. It's like if you took like the dialogue of a Robert Altman movie and put it in the club scene in the Social Network, almost like that in a way. More or less, it really adds to the tension of the movie. And the other performances in this movie too are also great. Like, you know, Kevin Garnett was like one of my favorite actors in the movie, even though he's not really an actor. Julia Fox, also first-time actor. She was wonderful, and
former Playboy model, actually. Fun fact.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that too, and also Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, my boy.
And the guy who rings the doorbell, and I said,
"Oh, this fucking guy! Do not let him in. Understand me? Just ignore him. Ignore him, Jody."
Like, he's not in the movie all that much, but like he's great in it. He looks like Wallace Shawn with curly hair. The editing of this movie is also like fucking crazy. Also kind of like Good Time. This movie's not necessarily like Bohemian Rhapsody, where yes, it has a lot of cuts.
Fucking all.
It has a lot of cuts, but they're not misplaced. You know, it's like it's more on the end of something like Whiplash in that sense. Where like it's hyper energy and there's a lot of cuts, but the cuts are placed precisely, and the editing is actually like fantastic.
Oh, talk about the score.
Yeah, Daniel Lopinen's score is one of the top 5 scores of the year.
Oh, it's so great.
Specifically the track "School Play." That track is perfect. It's the perfect track. It's like my favorite track on the entire OST, and it's brilliant. And it could probably be used in like any like high tension, fast paced action film because of just how fitting it is, especially with the scene in which it's played in. That's all I really have to say about the movie. I do prefer Good Time a little bit more to this. That being said, though, it is a pretty fantastic movie.
At number 8, we have the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's one of Tarantino's best for sure. Like, it's up there with Pulp Fiction and Hateful Eight in terms of Tarantino's best films. The concept from the beginning interested me at 2 up-and-coming actors in a... I should say an up-and-coming actor and a stunt double in a changing Hollywood. Filmmaking, it's pretty great, and the performances, especially Pitt's, are great. Like I said earlier, Willem Dafoe should have gotten an Oscar nom and a win for his performance, but Brad Pitt still puts on a phenomenal performance here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the other performances are pretty grand. Overall, I just had a genuinely fun time with Quentin Tarantino's film, and while a certain other film I will talk about later might have deserved production design a bit more, I think it deserved production design Oscar a bit.
Hard to argue with that.
But we'll get to that certain other film later, let's say. If you want more in-depth thoughts, go watch the podcast. Please ignore Gwen's dead name. Oop.
All right. Number 8 is actually... I feel like it should be higher up on my list, but the only reason why it's not higher up on the list is because other films knock it down. But it is Midsummer.
Nice.
Epic.
And I love Midsummer. It should be higher up, but like I said, other movies knocked it down. I love this film because I know it was mentioned earlier that the coloring it's something that you typically don't get to see in horror films or
Yeah.
psychological thrillers. And I think it's so different considering the fact that Hereditary was such a dark film, and Midsommar is Ari's second film, and it's light in the coloring sense, but it's far from light because the storyline is so heavy and what the character goes through. And it had a special place in my heart, oddly enough, because of Florence. And I think that was when I started falling in love with Florence as an actress, because she proves that she has such a diversity for the films that she can be casted in. I haven't seen too many of her other work. I mean, I've seen her in this one horror film on Netflix, and then I also saw her in Little Women and the Fighting with My Family. So it's obviously proven the fact that she can get any role that she wants. I'm a little bit upset over the fact that she didn't get any like nominations or any praise, like not even at like the Oscars, but like at the indie film festivals. I think the reason why that personally like kind of stung with me, and also why it didn't happen, is because of when the film was released, because it was released so early in the year.
Yeah, July,
yeah, it was still early considering the fact that like a lot of the Oscar nominated films come out in like October. And October and so forth.
I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also came out in July, so I mean, like,
that's so true though. Being like everyone,
there's only like one Oscar movie that comes out in the summer. Like Hollywood, Black Klansman, Dunkirk. It's usually only one a year.
Definitely. And also because I think a lot of people know Quentin Tarantino because he has a reputation for all the films, and how like everyone knows Quentin. Like if you don't know Quentin Tarantino, then that's kind of just like, where are you living?
Makes no sense. Yeah.
It's like it wouldn't make any sense if no one didn't know. But I just think that Midsommar is one of those films that I know that it's fucked up, but at the same time, I see myself like wanting to always go back to seeing it, like literally like looking at my Midsommar Blu-ray in the distance. I'm just like, I really just want to put it on tonight and then just watch it and get engulfed in it all over again. So that's pretty much all.
Number 7 on my again terrible list is
great list.
What? Thank you. Is Knives Out.
Nice.
God damn it, Amy. Enough with the dated jokes.
Knives Out for Harambe.
Amy, stop.
No, I refuse.
Knives Out is a film by currently one of my favorite directors. I'd say probably my idol right now, Rian Johnson. He is without doubt one of my favorite directors, not just working day, but probably. I love him so much. He makes nothing but bangers. I don't care what you fucking fat, sweaty nerds want to complain about with The Last Jedi. It slaps, and fuck y'all. Looper's good. Brick is great from what I remember. I need to see Brothers Bloom, but I fucking love Rian Johnson. Not only is he's a terrific filmmaker, he's a brilliant writer, and like seeing him in interviews, he's so fucking cute. I want to hug him so much. He just seems like such a great guy. And I love him so fucking much. Everything about him. Knives Out is probably my favorite of his, I think. Because I've been thinking about so much. I think about it a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot recently. It's so brilliant in like the character dynamics and the writing. So sharp. And the way it twists around. Because we've all seen whodunits and murder mysteries. So we kind of know what to expect. But if you've seen the movie, you know the way it kind of twists around a typical concept in so many ways that just kind of leaves you being able to not think about what's going on, and it really makes the movie unpredictable, and you never know what's going on, and it's so fucking brilliant, and the performances are all fucking great. This is the best I've seen some of these actors on or at. Ana de Armas this is probably the movie that made me fall in love with her. This is the first movie I've ever really noticed her. Like, of course, I've seen her in Blade Runner 2049.
And Blade Runner, movies,
but I never really noticed her. Like, I knew who she was, but I never really, like, knew her face. And, like, the thing is, I feel so bad because, like, the advertisement doesn't really show her when she's basically the main character. It's really her movie and just kind of, like, how she blends in this huge family. And, like, the commentary is amazingly done. And, like, there's a lot of big commentary on privilege and all that. Like I said, the performances are great. The writing's great. The directing is great. It's so fucking funny. My audience, I got to see this movie early, actually. Not as early as Jeff. There was a Fandango early access screen at my theater, and the theater was packed, and everyone was howling with laughter. And oh my god, I was like, this is my theater. These are my people. And God, I'm so happy this movie did so well, because the fact that, I hate to sound like pretentious cynic, but really, the fact that an original creative movie like this got to make $300 million is fucking, I'm so happy about.
It's so well deserved.
Yes.
So well deserved. Oh my God. It's so sellable too. I mean, like, it's sellable to anyone, really. I mean, you can,
Yeah.
because I don't see why even a normie would not like this movie. It's full of so much comedy and fun moments that it's kind of really hard to dislike. It's really a hard movie to dislike.
It's a really nice crowd pleaser.
The characters all great and interesting. The way they're insanely well written and developed. Just like the back and forth between all the characters is so fucking fun and entertaining. The way the plot progresses leaves you on the edge of your seat. Everything about it. Oh my God, I love this fucking movie. Everything about it, and God, the writing, and so like the way they make fun of Ben Shapiro in this movie is something I will always adore. How they basically made Jaden Martell's kid character basically a look-alike of Ben Shapiro, and basically kind of a parody of him, and they reduced him to a 15-year-old masturbating to pictures of dead deer in the bathroom. That is something that I love. Oh my God, that is the biggest fucking take, because Ben Shapiro is currently on my death note. I hate him with all my fucking heart. I hate him.
He's an idiot.
So much. I don't think I can hate a person more, honestly. Yeah, and Knives Out is so fucking good. I'm sure you all have seen it, so I don't have to say you all see it. Go see it.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is actually might be a little controversial to film Twitter, because I've noticed it's gotten a bit of a love-hate reputation. People either really love this movie, or some people really hate this movie. And this movie in particular is Waves.
Oh yeah!
Oh.
The controversy is huge on it.
Yeah, this movie, I'm surprised. There are a lot of people who seem to really hate this movie.
Oh, we were gonna bring Evelyn on. Holy fuck, she hated Waves.
Oh my God.
Like, she gave it a 0.5 star, and she like even made a thread on how much she hated it.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
Damn.
Oh, God.
Well, opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Same with my good friend Maxine. She also
This
despised
actually
it.
took me 2 viewings to really solidify my thoughts on it, because first time I had the Full Metal Jacket perspective, where the first act was absolutely phenomenal in every sense of the word, and then the second act, less so. I mean, still good, but it paled in comparison. Then the second time around, I got it. I got the movie more. I understood that it was like a total roller coaster of emotions, where the first act is just a accelerating barrage of emotional destruction and turmoil that just pounds at you until it gets to an absolutely shocking payoff. And then the rest of the movie is like a huge comfort hug trying to calm everything down after all the madness. It was on the second viewing where I got that, and it clicked with me. I gotta say, it's brilliantly acted, it's gorgeously shot, and the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is just phenomenal. I love Reznor and Ross so much. The editing and the way Trey Schultz plays with shifting aspect ratios in this is just phenomenal. And my boy, Kelvin Harrison Jr., once again proving himself to be one of the best new young actors of our generation. He is phenomenal in this. And he's phenomenal in another movie on my list, which I'll get to later. For a while, honestly, the only real weak link in this movie I really have is, well, for one thing, Lucas Hedges. Well,
I agree.
I mean, he's not bad.
God.
Well, I mean, I thought he was bad the first time I saw it, but then he grew on me a little more on the second viewing. I still think he is a mid actor.
I hate Lucas Hedges.
He's not good.
Though he has his moments. He was good in Honey Boy. He was good in mid-90s. He was good in Lady Bird. Well, he was fine in Lady Bird, but he didn't.
I liked him at Lady Bird. He just wasn't as good as everyone else was.
Oh, well, yeah. But then again, when you're going to Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf.
But this isn't a Lucas Hedges hate podcast. So, honestly, I love Waves. I mean, it's kind of baffling to me that so many other people hate it. Honestly, I love it. I love this movie.
My number 7 is 1,917. No, it's 1917.
Yay.
In a similar way to Climax, oddly enough, this movie feels very theatrical, which makes sense because Sam Mendes, even before he did American Beauty, he was really more known as a theater director. He actually almost joined a very exclusive club of people to win a Tony for directing and then go straight on to an Oscar for directing, but we know how that turned out. The movie really is just like you take like the gimmick, or not really the gimmick, but like the whole like technical concept of Birdman, and you apply it to a war film, which is a pretty interesting concept, and it's pulled off really well. I think the ways used in Birdman is still like better. My only real complaint about 1917 is that I could tell where some of the cuts were. I was just like, oh yeah, that's where it cut. Whereas Birdman, I didn't have that issue. I didn't know where the cuts were in Birdman. I mean, I had a general idea, but I didn't notice them. I mean, aside from that, though, 1917 is a pretty amazing film overall. My man Roger Deakins. You got to praise Mr. Deakins. Little Deakins.
Yes.
It's crazy how he only has 2 Oscars, I'm going to be honest. How he only has 2 is fucking baffling.
You should have like 10.
You have like 30. He's maybe the best cinematographer in the game because and the way he pulls this movie off as well is incredible. But also impressive about the film is its production design, specifically in the way it's choreographed. It's how intricately it's done to make the one-shot technique real or seem real in comparison, and the sound design as well. Specifically the sound editing. I'm talking about editing now. Like how they did all the the gunshots, the explosions, and everything of that nature was great. Thomas Newman's score is one of the best of the year, and how he is still gone 0-15 is baffling.
Baffling, absolutely baffling.
Because in his work in this is pretty awesome.
Some of his best.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him win for this. Not that I'm upset about Joker, but yeah, you get what I mean. The thing about 1917 also, in terms of what there is to get out of this whole thing, is the movie is really, you have to sit there and really soak it all in and just take it at face value. Watching this in the theater is probably the best way to watch it. I don't know if I I don't know if I would have gotten the same experience watching this movie at home. I mean, obviously, if I had a pretty good sound setup, then it would work. It would work well. But
agreed.
I can't imagine watching this movie on a David Lynch voice fucking telephone.
If you didn't see this in the theaters, then I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I said everything that needs to be said about this movie. It's not the best war movie of the decade. Well, maybe it is the best of the decade. I don't know. It's a pretty great movie, especially as someone who's war movies can be a pretty tough sell sometimes, unless you're Barry Lyndon.
Hey Gwen.
What?
Is it okay if I go through the rest of my top 10 because I really want to get to sleep?
That's fine.
We can rush yours so you can get to sleep because I really feel bad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go in a bit of depth, but not completely. Number 7. This one, before I say number 7, I want to say that number 7 is the one that killed me the most because it hurt me so much to put my number 7 choice that low. But at number 7, we have the best picture winner of 2019, Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the film.
At least it's on your list.
Parasite, it's Bong Joon-ho's amazing film. To be honest, it's still up there with my favorite best picture winners. It's easily in the top 10 best picture winners all time.
Oh yeah.
Even top 5.
Easy.
But, yeah, so, and like I said in the Hollywood segment earlier, this is the one I think should have won production design. Hollywood had great production design, but they built a whole house for this.
I know, right?
Oh my god, yeah. Why did Parasite not get a cinematography nomination? Holy shit.
That doesn't make any sense.
All right.
Anyways, enough for the rest of the lightning round. Number 6, Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, Booksmart. Amazing.
I love that film.
Yay.
Amazing comedy, very gay. I love it. Number 5, Uncut Gems. Dare I say, better performance than Punch Drunk Love for Sandler.
Ooh, nice.
Both are amazing.
That's hard.
And I disagree with George. This is better than Good Time in my opinion. But yeah, that's just me.
I mean, they're both really close for me, so.
Yeah, they're really close, but in my case, Uncut Gem has the edge. Number 4, the best gay film of 2019, Rocketman.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
It deserved its fucking original song win. It should have gotten a lot more nominations and wins.
Yes.
It won the most Andrews, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just brilliant. Number 3, The Farewell. Just copy and paste what Steph said, and you have what I say. But also, Awkwafina should have gotten the Best Actress nom at least.
Yes.
I would have picked her over Renee, honestly.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
kinda
I mean,
Renee was good, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't amazing.
Number 2, A Hidden Life. Terrence Malick's newest epic, and I just and
Yeah.
I and and while I prefer Thin Red Line and Tree of Life, Hidden Life is definitely really close up there with them.
Yeah.
Among Malick's best work, and I just had a lot of, I just loved it, and it's based on a true story, I think. So yeah, a true heartbreaking story.
I feel really bad. I still haven't seen it because I'm Malik's bitch.
Finally, at number 1, we have what might just be not only my favorite film of the year, but possibly even my favorite film of the entire 2010s. Noah Baumbach's emotional epic Marriage Story.
Yeah.
It has some of the best performances I have ever seen. Like
fucking same.
Yeah, like I mean, joke about ScarJo all you want. She pulled on one of the best performances I had ever seen in a film, and same thing with Adam Driver. Joaquin was great, but Adam Driver definitely deserved an Oscar almost just as about. You know what? I say they both deserved it equally, but if Driver won, I wouldn't flinch. A brilliantly made film. It's brilliantly written, and it has a great score. Not my favorite. I think my favorite would probably have to be Uncut Gems, but it has a really great score.
Yeah.
Good old Randy Newman.
Our boy.
And overall, it's just Marriage Story is just phenomenal. It's a masterpiece in every sense of the word. And that's all she wrote. I'm gonna get going.
All right.
See you, Amy.
Bye. Bye.
So I know that it's my turn, so I'm gonna keep it really quick. So I guess we could like wrap it up for a reason, because a lot of the films that are on my list have already been discussed. But for number 7, I have Jojo Rabbit.
Nice.
Yes.
I know Jojo Rabbit because I am a Taika Waititi whore.
Yes.
That's all I'm gonna say.
High five on that one, sis.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're on number 6. Okay.
Yep.
Number 6. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Nice.
I fucking love this movie to pieces. Sorry for sounding out of it. I'm a bit tired, but I fucking love everything about this movie. I love how it's like the perfect mix of story and kind of having scenes with like characters you love, just kind of hanging out and vibing. But like like one thing I kind of like seeing, even if it's doing like typical boring things, if you have great, well-written characters that works out for it. Kind of feel if you like the characters, then you're kind of there for the ride anyway. So seeing Brad Pitt drive his car or eat mac and cheese, it's like I love Cliff Booth, so I love seeing that shit happen. I love the brilliant ways they handle the Manson stuff. Like I barely gave enough good detail when I talk about this movie, both on this podcast and Big Little podcast that's run by Hayden when I talk about Hayden and actually the one we did on Hollywood was actually the last podcast Steph was on this one. So
that is true.
It's been a while. And I love the way they handle it. How they make Sharon Tate an actual character and not just that girl who gets killed. This isn't really a spoiler, but they don't actually, I think not only is this not a spoiler, but I kind of think you should know this going in, so you're not being like, when's it gonna happen? But they don't show Sharon Tate's death on screen. This is, like I said, this is not a spoiler. Well, because
if you've seen Inglourious Basterds, you know what you're gonna get into.
And I love how, like I said, they made her an actual character, and the portrayal of her is so respectful.
It's most certainly more respectful than another Sharon Tate movie that came out this year. That was fucking atrocious.
Absolutely. Fucking-lutely.
And people who say that movie had a better portrayal of Sharon Tate than this movie, go
What the
out.
fuck?
Go outside.
Hey.
Go outside and think about your life.
Wait a minute.
Someone who
People
said that.
actually think Hilary Duff is a better Sharon Tate than Margot Robbie.
Evidently.
I saw someone say that the haunting of Sharon. I could have sworn I saw one person do that. I was like, "You're an actual fucking." Listen, I usually respect opinions, but you're an idiot. You're an actual idiot.
You honestly
are an actual fucking
honestly
idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Like, I'm just saying, you're an idiot. I'm just saying. Okay, that's just a fact. Anyway, because like saying the respectful portrayal that actually humanizes her versus the portrayal that uses her death for fucking jump scares is just fucking moronic. And I think film Twitter seems to have a bias against this movie anyway. I have no idea why, but you know, whatever.
Tarantino.
Yeah, I think it's because it's like something different from Tarantino, and people are like, "Oh, we were expecting the death."
Yeah, that too, and also like the way that the main characters, like the characters mix it with the Manson element, like it's purely unrelated, and the way that ties in is purely just a coincidence, like just this coincidental meeting of Cliff meeting with what's her name, Margaret Qualley, and actually going to the Manson house. Like it's so simple yet it works, and it feels so grounded and realistic. And the comedy's funny. The performances are all fantastic, even though I think Leo gave a great performance, but it's like kind of been there, done that, and I don't think he really deserved the Oscar nomination. I would have much rather seen Taron or Adam Sandler. We'll get to that later. Brad Pitt was great. Margot Robbie was great. I would have loved to see Kurt Russell be in the movie more, but you know what? Margaret Qualley's good. Everyone's great in the movie.
The ensemble's pretty great.
Al Pacino's great. Oh yeah, great ensemble. Big ass cast. The directing's good and very authentic. The production design's fucking great. I would have picked Parasite over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood production design, but production design in Hollywood's still fucking excellent. Yeah. I love the authentic and old-fashioned feel and how they made it look like old Hollywood so perfectly. It's one of Tarantino's most personal and passionate films. I think this is probably the most passionate he's been about a film in a long time, if not ever.
Very long time.
Who knows though? And there's so many things. Like I love even the little things, like the fake radio ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Red Apple cigarettes. Like that. Little things just add to the world that I just love about it. Like he made actual like old radio ads and stuff like that, and I fucking love that. Like I know it's the littlest thing, but I just love how subtle it is, and like all the little authentic things that add to the world that's built with the old Hollywood setting. It captures both the niceness yet the craziness of old Hollywood perfectly. Characters are fun to watch. Like I said, they're so well written and so interesting to follow along that them just doing simple things, you're able to connect with it easily. It's clearly made by someone who has a huge passion for cinema. And
yes.
And I love the story of the has-been actor trying to get his fame back. And, one thing that our boy Jack pointed out in his second review, like, the emotion they let Leo show, like, a lot of male characters aren't able to show, probably.
Yeah.
Which I also love that aspect. There's so many little things about this movie that I love.
Yeah, very subtle.
Yeah, just like so many things about it, and just I fucking love this movie. It's probably up there with my favorite Tarantino's. I don't get how people don't like this movie. I don't
either. I think this is like my top 2. I think this one and like Inglourious Basterds are like my favorite.
I argue day and night with my friends over this movie. Like, they think it's just decent, and I fucking argue with them. Like, I mean, I respect their opinions, but like some of the shit they says, I'm just like, come on, like that's not true. But we all get along. I just fucking love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think the long runtime works. I mean, it could have been probably trimmed a bit, maybe, but I don't know. I just think that it works for the film and allows you to really get a true feeling of everything going on. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Everyone's seen it. Everyone has fucking seen it by now.
All right, so my number 6, following up on last movie was a Kelvin Harrison Jr. movie. This one is another Kelvin Harrison Jr. movie. It is Loose.
This is a woefully underseen and overlooked movie from last year, and it is just such a timely and thought-provoking and relevant movie that should have gotten way more attention because it tackles so many
relevant themes, like judging people for their potential future actions based on race or how they're raised or whatever. And it's just written so thought-provokingly, and it leaves you guessing even after the movie ends. Like, it's so ambiguous with what it does. And the cast is fantastic. Like, good God, Kelvin Harrison Jr., I can't sing praises enough for this guy. He is just phenomenal. And Naomi Watts and Tim Roth and Octavia Spencer, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is like a career best performance from her.
At least in the top 2.
Yeah, this is one of her best performances I've seen. She was frightening in this. It was
more frightening than she was in Ma.
Oh yeah, she was legit scary in this.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me
drink
alone. It's my fuck somewhere.
How do you think Ma would react to the coronavirus?
Oh my God. I was already gonna watch Ma to see how bad it was, but like
she would have found a cure by now, you guys. Okay.
I know, right? And like it's one of those films where it's probably like when the year's over, it's like, what's the point of watching it now? Though I probably would at some point. But now, like, there's a friend of mine who actually like genuinely likes it a lot, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch it for you.
So yeah, Loose. Go watch it. Go find it. It's on Hulu. Not that.
My number 6 is The Lighthouse. Everything y'all already said about this movie, I agree with. Willem Dafoe should have won that fucking Oscar. Top 5 Willem Dafoe's best performances. One of his top 5, and he's one of my favorite actors. Honestly, my pecking order is probably like Adam Driver, Daniel Day-Lewis, Jack Nicholson, and Willem Dafoe, and then maybe Robert De Niro number 5. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Robert Pattinson also amazing. He's gonna be the best Batman, I guarantee it. The cinematography by Yaron Blanche is fucking amazing. And when I was watching the nomination announcements live and Lighthouse came up cinematography, I was like a young kid on Christmas morning. It was like, oh my god. Production design, costumes are great. The editing also very underseen about this movie. Sound design is pretty spectacular, and this is the best horror movie of 2019. One of the best horror movies of the decade. I am ready to see whatever Robert Eggers does next. I can't wait for The Northman. I can't wait for his Nosferatu remake.
Fucking same, dude.
Yes.
Because, like, they're going to be some pretty epic movies. Epic. Yeah, Lighthouse. Got nothing more to add.
All right. My number 6 is Booksmart by Olivia Wilde. And I don't know if this is one of those films. That was the latest reaction I've ever received. But pretty much just gonna say, whenever I think of Booksmart, I don't know how anyone could rate it less than like a. Okay, I was gonna say if you rated it less than a 4.5, it's okay. But if you did anything less than a 4, then we have problems. We have problems here.
No, right. I rated it 4 out of 5. Am I valid?
Yeah.
You are valid.
Yeah, you're valid.
You are valid.
Aww.
You're valid.
You're always valid.
Yeah, you're unbelievably valid.
Yeah.
You are valid.
What's up?
But pretty much this film is just, it kind of reminds me of my best friend and I. So when I originally saw it, it was also higher up on the list, but since other films knocked it down, it just has a special place in my heart. I feel like all these films kind of do in a weird way, but yeah, my best friend reminds me of Amy, and I remind myself of Molly. So this is a film that I could always watch regardless of how old I am. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a good film. Olivia Wilde directed more. Olivia Wilde just needs to stick to like directing. That's all she needs to do.
She's not an untalented actress, but there's some of her performances that are genuinely just, I hate to say it, but some of her performances are actually like bad.
I agree, but like she doesn't get the best work a lot. Her best work was like her 5-minute appearance on Her.
That's true.
Yeah.
I haven't
She's
seen
good in
her
Tron Legacy. She's good in Tron Legacy.
She was good in Richard Jewell, although her character was horribly written.
She was like, the acting of Richard Jewell was like fine. I don't blame her for that movie being bad, but
I don't know. I just prefer her as a director, even though this is like her only film that she's directed. Like, if she can continue to do this, then like I guess more people in like Hollywood would respect her.
She directed a short film, I think that premiered at Sundance recently. So there's that.
With Margaret Qualley.
And I think she's got a new feature film in the works right now.
She's got 2 of them in development. One of them is a biopic about some tennis player. Then she's doing one with Katie Silverman, wrote the movie Booksmart, and it's like a psychological horror movie, which like.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
my list.
I mentioned before. I would love to see her make a Madonna biopic with Diablo Cody writing and Dakota Johnson's Madonna. That would be
I think
the trifecta.
I think Florence Pugh would make a really good Madonna. I'm not gonna lie.
I think so, but I don't know how to see it. I just see Dakota mostly. Or Emma Stone. I know you also mentioned Emma Stone. Because I talked for this idea a fucking lot.
I think Michelle Williams would probably make a better Madonna than Emma Stone. Not that Emma Stone's a bad actress. She's actually one of my favorite actors.
Of course.
And Emma Stone deserved her Oscar for La La Land. Fuck y'all.
And she also deserved
she did.
She also deserved an Oscar for The Favorite, but
and Birdman.
We want.
Oh, my God, she was incredible in Birdman. Holy shit!
I know, right?
That's probably my favorite.
Birdman is my 4th favorite film of all time.
It's my 3rd favorite Best Picture winner.
I can't believe there's some people who still haven't seen Birdman. I can't.
I know, right? It's been 6 years. How have you not seen it? What the fuck?
It's like my favorite movie of 2014, honestly.
Same.
It's between that and Whiplash.
Oh, Whiplash was so good.
And Gone Girl. Gone Girl. Don't forget
Gone Girl. Oh my God. Fucking love Gone Girl.
Steph, you were actually just talking about the, what was it? The Nick Dunn restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Where was it?
Oh yeah, the bar, because I live in St. Louis, so I like drove down with my best friend because we went to Nashville, so you have to cut through Cape Girardeau where Gone Girl was filmed. And the bar, the actual bar, because that's the name, is for lease. So I'm trying to get Film Twitter to like post up some money so we can like buy it.
Oh shit, you went to Nashville?
Yeah, I went to Nashville.
Oh my God, I live there.
No, wait, oh my God, seriously?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's crazy.
Steph, you should come down to Pennsylvania. Actually, I'd rather go there. I'd rather go where you are.
I think if you haven't seen Booksmart, you should go and watch it, and maybe watch it with your best friend and cry.
Yeah,
and then that's all.
I'd love to watch Booksmart with my best friend if I had one.
Aww.
JK, I got y'all. Actually, I do have the best IRL friend, but I actually don't know if they've even seen Booksmart. But she's a huge film buff, though, so that's nice. But she's graduating this year, so it's going to feel lonely without her in my senior year.
Aww.
But whatever, I'll be fine. Maybe, sort of. I don't know.
All right, my number 5 is Booksmart.
Yeah!
Yay!
All right, look, people who know me, they know I love this movie. Unapologetically so. And some people are probably like, why is it not higher on your list? Because there are 4 other movies that I just loved more. Here's the thing, I'm not trying to compare Booksmart to some shit like 2001 or like Citizen Kane or anything like that. But the thing about it is that it's just, all it really needed to be was a fun movie. And that's all it was. It's not trying to be deep, it's not groundbreaking or anything like that. Even if it's not groundbreaking, it's like, it's got impressive like technical elements of the movie. There's like cinematography, editing, and such. At least, especially when compared to most movies of this caliber. You know, something like Superbad, for example. What really makes this movie work is the chemistry between all the actors. Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein specifically. I cannot stress this enough. Billy motherfucking Lord.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Gigi is maybe my favorite character in the movie. Maybe.
Put her in all the movies.
Yes. Like, holy shit. She's so good.
She doesn't have that much screen time, and yet she steals the show in every single second she's on screen.
I'm a golden starfish!
She's like one of the most memorable parts of that film. And I think people will probably be like quoting her forever. The movie's also very well written, very sharply written. Again, it's not huge. It's not deep. It's not trying to be, but like the dialogue is like so witty and it's really funny and things like that. And it also gives you a really good sense of these two lead characters. Like aside from the performances, like the writing also, you can just tell that these two have been friends forever. The performances just really sell the movie. And this movie kind of made me fall in love with Caitlin Dever as well.
Oh, same. I love her so fucking much. I wish I looked like her.
I am so hyped to see whatever she does next.
Yeah.
And I have seen a couple episodes of Unbelievable. I haven't seen the full thing, but holy fucking shit. She's so good in it. Honestly, might be better than she is in this. She's got a lot of range, and I think she's going to be pretty big star at some point, like Florence Pugh in a certain sense. But yeah, I mean, y'all said everything y'all said about Booksmart. I couldn't agree more.
It hurts it didn't make my top 10, but, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to give her my 5. Okay, a film that I'm sure y'all are shocked is not higher. A film that I've seen the most times on this list. A film that means the fucking world to me in every single way. Rocket Man.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What can I say about this movie that I haven't erased it a billion times? Taron Egerton's amazing. The structure's amazing. The style's amazing. The fantastical elements are great perfectly. It's the best possible biopic they could have made. Especially Elton John, who is my fucking hero. I've established my love for him a ton of times. Taron Egerton gives, in my opinion, probably the best performance last year. It's a shame he didn't get nominated for an Oscar, especially since he won the Globe. That's bullshit. The musical scenes are amazing. His sing's amazing. The performances are all great. Not just Taron, but also Richard Madden, Bryce Dallas Howard, even she overacts a little bit. The movie's flawed, but, I think that it's a fantastic film overall. I don't care what anyone says. I love this movie so fucking much. I've seen it so many times. I feel the need to watch it all the time. I love everything about it. It's everything Bo Rap wants to be, but failed horribly. Fucking horribly.
Mic drop.
And the fact that Borat made so much more than this movie makes me lose faith in humanity.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
It feels like a big fuck you to Bo Rap, and I love that so much. Dexter Fletcher's direction is so fucking great. The takes using the musical numbers are phenomenal. I love everything about this movie. This movie just makes me so fucking happy. And the representation and seeing a gay relationship expressed the way it is on screen and everything about it, it's just this really means the fucking world to me. And the fact that we were able to see Elton John's legacy brought to life in the best possible way is amazing. It's so fucking amazing. I love this movie so much. I can't express it enough. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Chef's motherfucking kiss.
Love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So my number 5 is Uncut Gems.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and it did not disappoint. It was so refreshing and exciting to see Adam Sandler in such a raw and dramatic role. And he nailed it. This is one of his best performances ever. And the Safdie brothers, their direction is off the charts in this. I was blown away by Good Time, and I was blown away by this. Their use and mastery of tension and anxiety on film is just remarkable. Through their editing and the score and the pacing and everything, it's just an exhilarating movie that just won't stop giving you anxiety, and it's just a roller coaster of a movie. And man, I just love this movie.
You took all the words right out of our mouths.
Yeah,
said that.
Pretty easy to explain.
All right, I'm pretty sure it's my turn. Number 5 is Marriage Story.
Yeet.
Fuck yeah.
I am rather surprised that it made top 5, but I'm not complaining because Noah Baumbach is like fucking okay. I know it's based on his real life story, but yeah, he's like Jesus. And I really love the fact that he actually brought in what he dealt with behind the scenes into a film, because that rarely happens, and we know how Hollywood is so weird talking about certain subjects. It was actually nice for him to be like, hey, yo, this is what happened. I fucked up. We're all fucked up. We're human beings.
Yeah.
And I like the performances by ScarJo and Adam Driver. My queen, Laura Dern's in there as well. And I know that it's like a hot take that some people don't think she deserved her awards this season, even though I do think she should have gotten them for every other film, maybe Little Women even, but hey, she got an award, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to take it away from her because
me either.
She's been in this industry for so long, and I think she deserves it, regardless of what role. And she always brings quality. So that's the end. Incredible cast, incredible film. I'm excited to see what Noah's going to do next with Greta, with Barbie.
Yes.
I can't. Oh, I'm so hyped.
Oh my god. Best adapted screenplay, Barbie.
Barbie. It's going to win so much. I just have a feeling. But
gonna win
Wait,
Best Picture.
George, weren't we joking a couple nights ago about Bong Joon-ho directing it?
Oh yeah, Barbie, a musical written by Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig.
And I joked about Ken fucking keeping his ex-wife in the secret bunker of the dollhouse, wherever it is.
And Ken being played by Adam Sandler.
Stop. That would be such a film. I would love to see that.
Film A.
I would pay good money to watch that.
Let's just make all of these films happen. All of our ideas happen. Let's just fucking go to town. Why not?
I know, right?
Calling up Neon right now.
But yeah, let's go. Let's see what's coming up next. I'm excited.
Number 4 is The Lighthouse, The Light Hose. I don't know why I keep making that joke. It's not a funny one at all. This fucking movie, man. Holy shit, crawls under my skin. Yeah. And holy fuck, oh my god, the way the characters are listed and named on Letterboxd is a massive spoiler. Shit. This movie is so fucking good. So hard to understand in every way, but I love it. I mean, in the best way. I mean, it's when it's necessary. The cinematography, the directing, the presentation. It feels like a lost older film. And the production design just makes it actually... This and Parasite are the best production design last year by fucking far. They built 2 houses for this from the ground up, and everything feels so authentic, perfect, and grounded, and realistic. The scares are so effective. I am not usually scared by movies. I mean, I was definitely a bit creeped. I was definitely creeped out by both Hereditary and a bit Midsommar. But this fucking movie scared me like no other movie has in a while. It's so effective. The last 5 minutes of this movie scared me like no movie has. It still leaves me shaking the more I think about it, especially the final shot. Goddamn. The performances are so fucking good. Y'all keep talking about Willem, which, I mean, Willem is fantastic. He's amazing. I also think Robert Pattinson's also amazing in it as well. He, at points, is on fucking Daniel Plainview levels of amazing acting. Daniel Day-Lewis, I mean, I'm talking about Daniel Plainview. His character. Well, I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about, but I'm worried that someone that comes like, "What? His name's Daniel Day-Lewis, you fucking normie!" And I was trying to refer to that character more. Anyway, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are so fucking good in this movie. The directing's so good. I'm not the biggest fan of The Witch. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like The Witch. I'm not the biggest fan of it though. This movie is far superior in every way.
Yeah.
Fucking holy shit.
It is better.
I just the way the story progresses, the structure, the editing especially, the costume design, the authenticity, the way everything, like, you feel Winslow, but then quotes, he just gradually gets more and more insane. You feel the feeling as it goes along, and you don't know what the fuck's going on a lot of the time, but you just want to keep going along for the ride to see what's actually happening. And holy shit, the way certain things get revealed are unlike a lot of movies I've seen recently. Well, I mean, even like smaller movies. Like, I mean, of course, we've all seen like A24 horror movies or smaller horror movies where like shit gets nuts. You don't understand anything. Shit just gets wild and like all that. But like it's the best way of showing the twists and turns I've seen in a while. It's like it leaves you on the edge of your seat. And so effective. The performances and the overall creepy mood add tons to it. And God, this is a movie that I didn't even know how to fucking feel about when I walked out of the theater. But I let it sit for a while, and I love it to pieces. It was my most anticipated movie of the year at the time. And the more I think about it, lived up to a lot of what I wanted from it. I need to watch this movie more and more and more, and I can't wait to. And holy fucking shit. So fucking good.
Amazing movie.
And the blend of comedy and horror works amazingly well as well. I'm officially a Robert Eggers fan. Can't wait to see what he does next.
Oh, fucking same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my number 4 is surprisingly kind of an underlooked movie. It is A Beautiful
Kind
Day
of,
in the
yeah.
Neighborhood.
Oh, that is
yeah,
such a good film.
so underrated. I love that movie.
Yes,
Still
it
need to
is
see it.
so touching and lovingly crafted. It's just a beautiful love letter to everything Fred Rogers stood for. And what's great about it is that it's not about Mr. Rogers. It's about how he affects the lifestyle and outlook of this one person. And just goes to show how much of an impact the guy could have. Gotta hand it to our man Hanks for nailing it as Mr. Rogers. I mean, I was a bit skeptical at first going in, but eventually he
Same.
just sunk into the role, and I was fully convinced that's Mr. Rogers. He just encapsulated the guy perfectly. And also, got to shout out Matthew Rhys, who is another undersung MVP of this movie because he is just outstanding in this.
It didn't. That movie sadly didn't make my list or my honorable mentions, but I think it was insanely overlooked. I don't know how it got as overlooked as it did. I think it's by far one of the most underrated and one of the most well crafted and creatively presented biopics I've seen in a while.
And that is in large part because of Marielle Heller.
Yes, I was about to mention I love her so much. I'm getting more into her.
Yeah, I am
She's
quickly
so good.
falling in love with her and her touch and her
Same.
style and everything. She's
Just
quickly becoming one of the most promising female directors we have today.
One of the most promising directors, I was about to say.
And like,
true.
Listen, I was skeptical going into Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood because I was like, what are they going to do with this movie that Won't You Be My Neighbor already did with Mr. Rogers' legacy? You know, it seems like something more fit for the documentary style.
Yeah.
And the trailers didn't really grab me insanely. So going in, I was like, I'm expecting a pretty good film, but not necessarily something like outstanding. But holy fucking shit, it was great. And Tom Hanks really sunk into the role. And I love the creativity of everything, like how some sequences are like kind of like fantasy sequences where like
and
they play with the style.
Parts of it are like structured like it's an episode of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
I love that.
I love things like that, and it's so emotion driven and allows you to really connect with this main character in a lot of ways. Is it perfect? No, there's of course some cheese, but it's very forgivable, and I think it's an exceptional film overall, which I wasn't expecting it to be.
Oh, it's just I love it.
Okay, so I, like Jeff, have a movie on my number 4 that's on no one else's list, I think. It was in a couple people's honorable mentions, but this is, I'm the only one who actually has it on their list. My number 4 is The Irishman.
Nice.
I'm so sad it didn't make my top 10.
Okay, let me explain some context here. The Irishman was my most anticipated movie of all of 2019. I was more hyped for it than pretty much every movie, more than Endgame, more than Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, more than Little Women, which I was really hyped for, more than Marriage Story, more hyped than pretty much every other film in 2019. This movie seemed right up my alley. I love Martin Scorsese. Taxi Driver is in my top 5 of all time. De Niro is one of my favorite actors, as well as Pacino and Joe Pesci. I love Martin Scorsese's mob movies, Goodfellas and Casino and Departed, and Gangs of New York if you count it, although I think that's the weakest of the 4, or the 5 in this case. And I got everything I wanted and more out of this movie. I am very sad that it went 0-10. I really am. And if I were an Oscar voter, or if I were picking the Oscars, this movie would win visual effects, and it would win editing. Holy fuck, the editing in this movie is like the best editing of the year. Thelma Schoonmaker is such a brilliant editor that no matter how long the movies are, like whether it's like Wolf of Wall Street or something to that effect, or like Silence, which isn't as long, but it's like really slow. Like she's able to edit the movie in a way that still keeps you engaged, like sitting there on the edge of your seat. This movie really did that for me. I didn't have much of a problem with the visual effects. I know a lot of people did, but like, I don't know. They didn't really look all that fake to me.
There's one scene where it was kind of distracting, but everything else was
great. One scene, but like everything else for me worked. I also wasn't really bothered by the runtime. Honestly, this movie.
neither was I.
It went by faster than me than Endgame did, oddly enough, even though it's way longer. Yeah, this movie really did subvert a lot of my expectations. Obviously, Robert De Niro is great. I am still baffled. Y'all are talking about Taron and Sandler. I agree with you. How Robert De Niro did not get nominated for this movie is fucking insane.
Yeah.
He's doing the best work that he's done in 25 years, and he gets nominated for Silver Linings Playbook. Granted, he was great in that movie, but not as good as he is in this. Not even close. Of course, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci.
Al Pacino is like the big MVP of the movie for me.
My favorite performance in the movie is actually Pesci, but I mean, he's doing something so different than he's ever done, and I like his performance in Goodfellas better, but man, he's still just so subtle in this movie. And I think had either of the two Irishmen won, I would have been really happy with that, despite me preferring Willem Dafoe. The way this movie really tells its story, I would not have cut a single thing from this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. The way it's told is really unique compared to Scorsese's other films. I'm going to sing this movie's praises until the end of time. I think this is a phenomenal movie, and I'm so glad that it lived up to my expectations.
One thing I love about The Irishman is how, it's a different kind of gangster film from Goodfellas and some of Scorsese's other gangster films, and how, it goes for a different style, and especially considering how, in terms of a character study on Frank Sheeran, you really can tell, you feel the emotion. You can tell by the end, oh shit, being part of the mob, the mob really fucked up his life. Between his relationship with his daughters and just how he aged and just everything leading up, you can just really tell, and it really affects you. And it's more emotion driven, and you can really, especially considering how this is, basically kind of also for Scorsese a trip to the past, and also really kind of a return to form for Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, going back to their old roots and kind of showing the last time we'll ever see them do something like this. And holy shit, of course, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, they're not retiring anytime soon. Pesci's going back to retirement, I'm assuming, after this. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's fucking.
Al Pacino's already got a new Amazon show, so.
Oh yeah, I know. I heard about Hunters. There's so much I love about The Irishman. Like I said, I was rewatching some of it with my mom and brother last night, and holy fuck, I love this movie.
Yeah.
And Pacino, I personally think should have won over Pitt. Sorry, not sorry.
For a while, I was predicting him to win, but then I just realized, it's going to be Pitt.
So my number, we're on 4, right? Because I kind of dozed at certain points.
We're at 4.
4 is A Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
And I'm really happy that this is high up because I had a mutual who told me about this film and she was like, I think you're gonna love it. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see it. I have this weird thing where, because since the genre of this film is considered to be history, I struggle with history-related films, period pieces. So I'm trying to get more into that. But I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that history aspect too much. Overall, I just think this film is probably something that I wish would have been released earlier in time, but I'm glad it was released when it did. And plus, just looking through my reviews on Letterboxd of everyone, film Twitter ate this whole film up. Everyone was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
All 5 stars. All 5 stars.
Even though Portrait Nation's a bit toxic, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing is I feel I don't follow the actual fan bases all of that well, but
Yeah.
I've seen what's been going on.
Yeah.
But I do think this film, even though it wasn't going to get a lot of Western praise from the actual Academy and so forth,
Yeah.
film does respect the craft and does respect the film. So I think in the end, that's what matters the most. It's because awards don't really mean that much.
Absolutely.
It's a benefit, but in the end, I think for what the meaning was, story behind it, and just the art and how the two women collided together, I think it was interesting. I guess it's 2020. We need to have more women love women films.
Yes.
Agreed.
We got to do that more often.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Number 3 is a film that we talked about in great detail. Actually, I think all of you talked about before I did.
I haven't yet.
Originally, my number 1, but it got bumped back a few spots. You'll see. You probably won't predict what's coming up, well, depending. If you know, whatever. Number 3 is Marriage Story, a film I fucking adored. I mean, obviously. I mean, everything that's been said has already been said. The performances are amazing. The well-crafted story, relationship, and development. It's unlike any other film that's tackled divorce necessarily in terms of how well fleshed out everything is.
Mm-hmm.
And how human everything feels. That makes it feel all the more heartbreaking. And these two insanely humanly and well-written characters who are both flawed in their own ways.
Oh my god, yeah.
To the point where you kind of think about everything, and the way everything plays out, and the screenplay is so brilliantly written and gives everything enough room to be fleshed out completely. And I really like Baumbach as a writer and director, but I don't absolutely adore the guy. I mean, I do enjoy him, but I don't think he's made a lot that I've really loved. And my favorite of his is obviously Francis Ha. Well, before this,
Yeah,
my favorite was Francis Ha. But
definitely
even then,
agree with you.
yeah, even though Francis Ha, I do think is really good. I don't think it's amazing personally. I guess this is me. Though I do think it's really good, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaspheming.
No.
But Marriage Story.
It's good.
Marriage Story is his best work to date. The performances are absolutely amazing. The fact that people turn the argument into a meme still pisses me off. I didn't get too hung up over a film Twitter meme, but how did y'all turn that into a comedic scene?
It's not necessarily the memes that are bad. It's just the
oversaturation of it.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the people who took that clip out of context. Who were like, oh my god, screaming and yelling, me, man. That's the part that actually made me mad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Fuck those people.
yeah.
I mean, a couple of the memes made me laugh. There was one with a Thomas the Tank Engine Instagram filter that made me laugh, and I think Brock Baker when he did the.
There's one where every word was replaced with Doritos.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine that.
A lot of people were in the comments, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been a long time. They were like, "Oh, I've never seen my parents fight like that." Then I'm like, "Well, your parents must be nice that they fight behind closed doors." Because the rest of us can't relate because we see.
I wish I could have your life, your perfect life.
It makes me annoyed when Film Twitter did that because it's clearly you've never been into you've never sat on the outskirts of when your parents were fighting, and when your parents just the stupidest shit that come out of their mouth, that is realistic. That's all I have to say. It's realistic.
Exactly.
And just everything, the pure emotion that leaks through the performances. Yeah, Adam Driver and ScarJo, especially the argument scene, really show their pure emotions, and people who say their acting is terrible don't know real acting. Alan Alda, Ray Liotta, and Laura Dern are also great. Laura Dern, I'd say, definitely earned her Best Supporting Actress, even though she didn't do anything really outstanding in the movie, but she was really good though.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy to see Laura Dern winning an Oscar. To be honest with you,
same.
I'm glad Marriage Story walked away with something. Randy Newman's score is fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of it, definitely kind of feels like repeated Randy Newman stuff. I think the two tracks, what I love about Nicole and what I love about Charlie, which of course both play in the opening scene, I think are both incredible and beautiful tracks that I just listen.
My god.
I've listened to those tracks so many times, and God, they just get me every time. And the cinematography is great. The style of the movie is very nice and kind of nice feeling. Baumbach's style works at its best here, and there's so much to say about it. I fucking adore this movie. It's incredible. I feel lucky I got to see this movie in the theaters instead of just watching it at home on Netflix.
Nice, me too.
Yeah,
I do like the experience of seeing it at home on Netflix, but seeing it in theaters is the best way to watch any movie.
So my number 3 is a movie we've mentioned a good bit about, and one that I absolutely love. It is Rocket Man.
Yes.
Gwen already said pretty much all I have to say about this movie. I love the style. I love the performances. I love the music. I love how it handles Elton's story while also being a full-on, full-fledged musical. It does everything a certain other movie did horribly wrong, and and here it does it
Yeah.
absolutely right. The fact that this movie didn't get the love that other piece of shit got is baffling to me. But to me,
Yeah.
that doesn't matter because I'm so
Heartbreaking.
grateful we got a movie like this. And this movie is just
Yeah.
so fucking special. And I love this movie so much. It is just a pure joy.
We don't deserve
Yeah.
this fucking movie. We don't.
Yeah.
We really don't. Yeah. My number 3, I think Steph might have this higher. My number 3 is Little Women.
Yeah, I have it higher.
Okay, I would not have been that interested in this movie had Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan not been attached to it.
Oh, fucking same. I know it sounds like biased, but like,
I think
Yeah,
had
that's pretty honest.
had a bunch of randos been attached to it, I would have been like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, to be fair, we've had
Yeah.
10
We all would.
versions with we had 10 versions like
Yeah.
that, but Greta
Yeah.
Gerwig adds her own kind of spice.
Yeah. Like there's been theatrical versions of it. There's been musicals, fucking opera for some reason. This movie or this story has been done and redone so many times. And this is my first experience with the story. I walked into that theater expecting okay, I know Greta's gonna do something really special. I walked out of that movie saying, wow, that might have actually been better than Lady Bird. And I fucking love Lady Bird. It's one of my favorite movies. And this might have topped it for me. And I went back and I watched some of the other versions not some of the other versions fully, but some scenes of the 94 film. And don't get it twisted, I'm not trying to judge the whole movie based on a couple scenes, but in comparison to the 2019 version, they seem so dry to me.
I totally agree with you. Sorry, I had to insert. I totally agree.
It's fine. It was just this seems so dry compared to this new version. And Saoirse Ronan gives my second favorite performance of the year.
That fucking speech, man.
Yeah, this is her. She's maybe my favorite actress. Maybe.
I can't argue with that.
So talented, yeah.
I have to think about that. But she is so subtle in this movie. The scene with her and Laurie out in the field where, you see it in the trailer, Laurie's trying to propose to her.
Mm-hmm.
Her performance in that scene is fuck, it's heartbreaking. And I'm just wow. I was astounded by her acting in that scene. And it's such a cliche to say, but it's true. And not to take away from the other performances, Florence Pugh honestly was probably my favorite of the supporting actress lineup.
Oh, fucking same.
She's not quite as good as she is in Miss Summer, but she's close.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a few really amazing scenes in the movie. Timothy Chalamet, Laura Dern, Eliza Scanlon, even Emma Watson was good in this movie, and you're okay.
She was.
When Emma Watson is in the movie, you know that the director's doing something right. Bob Odenkirk shows up in the movie randomly. I mean, I knew he was in it, but he shows up, and it's yeah, even he's great in the movie, and he's barely in it. Look, I really like Jojo Rabbit, and I love Taika, but I would have loved to have seen Greta win adapted screenplay.
Oh yeah.
I would have.
That would have been cool, but I think it was the weaker screenplay, but that's just me.
Well, to quote Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems,
I disagree.
This movie is just filled with so much life and energy that a lot of other period piece dramas don't have. And I couldn't think of another person to do this better than Greta Gerwig, and I want to check out the other versions of it, including the book version of it, to see how this compares. But I am already having a hard time thinking that any of the other versions could be better than this one. You could tell that Greta had so much passion for this novel and this story. And yeah, what more can I say about it? I love this movie.
I didn't like it as much as everyone else did, though I did think it was a good film. I think it was a solid 7. But it was very well crafted, very beautifully directed, very beautifully made. Florence Pugh was the MVP, even though Saoirse and the other performances were great. I just thought Florence Pugh stole the show. Every scene she was on screen, I was like, this is fucking supreme cinema right here. I love her. And I think I probably like No, I think I like Lady Bird a bit more, though. I do think Little Women's the better film. The Lady Bird was more enjoyable and more rewatchable.
I forgot to mention the cinematography. No one talks about the cinematography in this movie.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the color
beautiful.
grading.
Okay, for one, it's done by Yorick Leisseau, who did High Life, of all movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in Climax, actually.
No, he didn't do Climax.
Right?
No,
Okay,
that was the guy. He's the guy who works on all of Harmony Korine's movies.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And also Alexandre Desplat's score.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think it's better than his Shape of Water score, and I love that score.
Damn.
But I think this is really better. Yeah.
Okay, so this one was already discussed. I think everyone had it. I don't know if it was in their top 10. I think there was some honorable mention here and there. But this one is 1917.
Nice.
Going to keep it very simple, straight to the point. I loved every minute of it. Like I said before, I find history, like war films, very difficult for me to get into. While I do agree there were some moments where you kind of noticed, like when they were editing, you can tell that the editing was kind of funky at certain moments. But other than that, I think the performance, the score was phenomenal. I mean, like that literally brought my anxiety, just like how Inception brought my anxiety with the time. This film was incredible. I did think that it was gonna win a lot of awards at the
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna
Oscars.
take Best Picture and Director. I thought it was gonna be like the easy choice.
Speak for yourself. I was the one who predicted Parasite.
Damn.
And I was so happy to be wrong.
True. Even though like I said it on my Letterboxd review that like if this ages bad, I think I give everyone permission to yell at me for saying this. I am glad that Parasite did end up winning, but I think 1917 is a great film. I really want to see it because he keeps on talking about it. So I'm really excited to what he will think about it. I loved it. It was well worth the wait. Because I think I saw it a couple weeks after it went into theaters, but I loved it. Best. One of my favorites.
We're number 2 already.
All right, in the home stretch.
I'm getting tired. Anyway, number 2.
We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. You can pull through.
Someone slapped me in the face. Trying to get me up. Thank you. I needed that. And number 2, this fucking hurt, man. But only number 2. It was my number 1 for a while. Topped Marriage Story, like Adam Sandler tops his wife. At number 2 is Uncut Gems. Holy shit. The Safdie brothers are 2 of my favorite directors ever at this point. Good Time is one of my favorite films of the decade, and Uncut Gems I think is even better. Though, I mean, Good Time is better in terms of the Safdie style. So I think in terms of plot and character and all that, I think Uncut Gems is the better film. I think Uncut Gems, I don't know what the fuck I could say about this movie that hasn't already been said. I think it's a masterpiece. Overall, I love the story and everywhere it's going. Like, it feels so grounded in reality, even though a lot of people say there's some unrealistic moments, which I don't agree with necessarily at all. I think it's so gritty and raw and powerful and intense that it haunts you in a way, and it just leaves you feeling cold, yet also really like satisfied. Yeah. Main character, he's ridiculous and kind of an asshole, but you want to root for him because you want everything to go the best for him because he's in a tough situation. And he's not even he's done bad shit, but you're kind of at the point where he's kind of like a bit of an anti-hero, but in a way where kind of like you still want to see him succeed because he's going up against like such, kind of like other like a ton of like bad forces just pushing up against him. I'll probably explain it weirdly, whatever. Adam Sandler's performance is fucking fantastic. He proves that he could be a great dramatic actor. I wish he would do more movies like this. I know that's a cliche. God, holy shit. As you can tell, I love dramatic Adam Sandler because both Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems are 10 out of 10. It's one of the people in my favorite films of all time. Uncut Gems is somewhere probably my top 20. I fucking love this film. It's so fucking... That's everything about it. it has different style of cinematography from Good Time, but it still, in a way, looks more kind of, I guess, like less aesthetically pleasing than Good Time, but at the same time, really brings out a beautiful look to it when it needs to, especially with the transitions at the beginning and end with the colorful, kind of like, what's the word? What's the term?
Color palette?
I mean, I don't know, like, you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean. The writing is great, the acting is great, like I said. Everything about this movie works perfectly. The story is on the edge of your seat, and just like it's so fucking brutal. It doesn't hold back at all, and it's insane at times, and just the plot is so fucking fun to follow, and it gets so crazy in ways that I adore, and I just love how like complex Adam Sandler's character is in a lot of ways. Like I said, even though he's kind of an anti-hero, you at the same time kind of want to root for him a bit. And the way they get, and Kevin Garnett isn't even an actor, but he's so good in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Julia Fox, first-time actress, so good. Idina Menzel's great. Lakeith Stanfield's awesome as usually is. I keep forgetting the fucking voice. You remember who the voice on the phone was?
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that was her. And I looked up on the left, so I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
that was fucking Tilda. That was fucking Tilda Swinton.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Judd Hirsch is in the movie long, but he's good too. The Safdies are two of my favorite directors ever at this point. They don't hold back, and they know how to show gritty realism. And God, yes, I can't explain this
100%.
enough. I love this film so fucking much, and just every moment just leaves me feeling both satisfied and yet so insanely tense. And it's perfect. It's
100%.
perfection.
All right.
I hope I did a good enough job establishing why I love this film so much.
Oh, you did.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, absolutely.
So my number 2 was my number 1 for a long while until my current number 1, and it is Booksmart. Oh my God, I loved this movie. I was so in love with this movie from day one. It was just so funny and entertaining, and I love the ensemble and how enjoyable every one of them was. I mean, George basically said what I had to say about this one, especially in regards to Billy fucking Lord. Oh my God. I mean,
Iconic.
iconic. She's only in it for like 8 minutes or so, maybe less, but she steals every second she's on screen.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. And I love how real it feels and how close it feels. And man, I just can't think of the right words to describe this movie. It is just so special. And Olivia Wilde knocking it out of the park with her debut. Oh my God. I cannot wait to see what she does next. It is
It's
just
still fucking insane to me that this is her debut. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Talking about hitting a home run on the first one. It is
Yeah.
just incredible. But yeah, Booksmart. It is incredible, but nothing compared to my number 1, which we'll get to soon.
Okay, so my number 1 and 2. This was so fucking difficult to decide. So difficult to like when I did my favorites of the year on my Insta page. I put them both as a tie because I just couldn't decide. But for the sake of this list, I'm gonna go with like what's the best of the year as my 1, and the one that emotionally affected me at 2, which at 2 is Marriage Story. I saw the trailer for this movie and I was like, this movie is probably gonna destroy me. I'm a huge Noah Baumbach fan. I love his work. I think his style, his writing is like he captures like the really quirky, like down moments in life, and he does it perfectly in his films. I know Gwen said she doesn't love Frances Ha. That's fine, or she doesn't find it amazing. That's fine, but like I love that movie.
I think it's a really good film.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that you said it was a bad movie or anything. You know.
Yeah, I own the damn Criterion. So yeah.
Yeah, same. I think
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
I get you.
Where I love the movie very much, and I watched Marriage Story, and I'm like, did he legit like do this again? Like I know I just said that about Greta Gerwig and Lady Bird, but like I think Little Women is the better movie. This is like, holy fuck. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Adam Driver, in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt, gives the best performance of the year. He is fan-fucking-tastic. Look, he is a great actor. He has done so many, really, he's great as Kylo. He's really amazing in, a lot of the shit he does. Even though, the ones I'm not a huge fan of, like The Report or The Dead Don't Die, he's great in. Marriage Story, he was on another level. I was like, this dude can act.
Yes.
The way he bounces off of Scarlett, who is also phenomenal in this movie, is crazy. But in all seriousness, ScarJo, she's a really talented actress, and I've always liked her as an actor. But I mean, that monologue she has with Laura Dern is fuck. She just outdid herself in Lost in Translation. This is fucking real, and she was so amazing. I think Laura Dern is great in the movie. It's nowhere near her best performance. I mean, she's deserved an Oscar for such a long time. So it's basically the same way I pretend Joaquin Phoenix's win is for The Master, I pretend her win is for Blue Velvet or Inland Empire. But I mean, yeah, she's great. She's amazing in this movie. Ray Liotta's great. Alan Alda, Edgy Robertson. This is probably also my favorite screenplay of the year, just because of how so deeply explored the characters are, and how this movie really shows you the ugly side of divorce. Is this is what divorce is like. We're not gonna play. We're not gonna play it safe here. We're not gonna show the nice part of it. We're gonna show you the ugly parts of it. Now fucking deal with it. And
Yeah.
that's really bold in a way. It's not a nice movie. It can be tough to sit through at points, and it really was. I'm not someone who cries a lot in movies, personally, but I was bawling by the end of it. I was my face was so covered in tears that I could barely see when the movie was done. So much water was blocking my eyes. I was like, holy shit. That movie was a gut punch. And yeah, Randy Newman's score, Chef's Kiss, just like Gwen was talking about with What I Love About Charlie, What I Love About Nicole, those two tracks are so good. I listen to them all the time as well. They're beautiful. Some of the most beautiful pieces Randy Newman has ever written. The editing also, not a lot of people talk about this. I know he's kind of a meme, but Karsten Runquist actually legitimately has a really good video on Marriage Story's editing that I recommend you all watch, because he really shows how well edited the film is, and how greatly the film shows you perspective. It's shown through its editing and things of that nature. And as someone whose parents have been divorced for almost my entire life, it's I don't have any memories of their divorce, but something about it just seems so familiar. I think that's part of the reason I really fell in love with it. So yeah, Marriage Story is really hard not putting it in my number one, but that's what I have to say about it.
Nice. I like it. All right, so I'm hoping. Can I just do this really fast because I'm ready to fall asleep as well. So I'm gonna pop out my two and my one really fast. I'll make it super quick because a lot of these two films were discussed a lot by you all, and I think that everything you guys have said was incredible. So for my number two, I have Parasite.
Yeah.
Which I am really wanting to do a rewatch for it soon. I love the cinematography. I love the storyline. I love the family. Just the house. The house. My God, the house just leaves me speechless. I loved everything about this film. technically my 1 and 2 are like one. I can't pick between them, so because they're both quality. But my number 1, we're not surprised by this because I am a huge Greta Gerwig fan. It's Little Women.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
I love her.
I knew it was gonna make you number one. You are her.
I am so honored. I really wish I was Greta, but I will take the compliments.
You're better than her.
Oh shit, thank you. But I fell in love with her obviously through Lady Bird. And as I fell in love with her in Lady Bird, I ended up watching her actual acting with Mistress America and Frances Ha. And while I loved both of those films and I loved her acting and her quirkiness and personality, I think her as a director is the cherry to the top of the pie. She brings such a depth into this film. And I believe, George, that you mentioned it, that the other variations of this film, when I was watching the 1994 version, which was my first version of Little Women, I liked it, but now that I've seen the Greta Gerwig version, and I liked how the cuts and how she made all of the characters feel real in comparison to the 1994 version, it was basically just Joe's story, whereas this one with Greta, she gave each character depth, and I think that's what I love about it, because that's so important, considering that it's just not one character. Even though Saoirse was a star, Florence did shine, and Eliza did it as well. I think all of the women in this role, as well as Timothy as Laurie, my God, like I couldn't have ever casted anyone else for this role, and maybe I'm biased because I do love Saoirse and Timothy, so I just want them to be in all of the films together.
Oh, we love it, Timothy.
I love them, but this film overall is very special to me because I went to see it with my mom, and I walked out of the theater actually with my mom, like hugging her and crying. So the reason why it's number 1 is because I saw it with my mom, and I'm a very huge Greta Gerwig fan, and I love the sentiment
That's sweet.
of it. So when I have something sentimental, I take it more to heart, and it means so much to me. So Greta Gerwig did that. I hope one day I get to meet her. I love her. That's all I have to say, and I'm gonna log off and go to sleep.
All right. Good night, Stephanie.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night. Thanks
Thank
for
you
all
so much for
having
joining
me.
us again.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
You
me.
are a joy.
We love having you on.
Oh,
love
thank
you.
you. Thank you.
We love
You guys have a
so much.
good night. Good
You
sleep.
too.
Good
I'll
night.
talk to you all
Best
later. All right, bye.
Talk to you later.
All right.
All right, Gwen, George, you want to go all together for our number ones? Because I think we all have the same number.
Actually, wait. I just want to give some context. I'm so sorry for I just want to mention this is a film that you'll be surprised is now my number 1 because I've actually mentioned before how I love this film a lot when I first watched it, but I did find it overhyped. And on second watch, I got to see this, and you speak to me, you think Uncut Gems is my number 1. Well, that's been top, baby, because I saw this film again in fucking IMAX, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. Watch this movie again, taking it all in the best way possible. Seeing not just in theaters but in IMAX is an amazing experience, and I got to take it all in, rewatching it again, having a different perspective than when I first watched it. My number 1, and these two boys' number 1.
It's 3, 2, 1.
Parasite! Parasite!
I'm kidding, Parasite.
Bong
I love it so much.
Oh my God, this movie is so amazing.
Rare occurrence of my favorite movie of the year winning Best Picture.
It is one of. I still cannot believe that actually happened. It's still like a dream come true. It is just incredible.
That's something that the Academy never likes taking risks.
Yeah, but like this movie was just the consensus like best movie of the year, and like how could we not? Like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, like it was just a consensus, and like, how could we not give this Best Picture? And they did it. They rallied behind it and did it. Oh my goodness!
It's just so unbelievable.
I don't know why I'm just trying to say we stand. I was tired. Everything that's been said about Parasite has already been said, and like just how well crafted, how brilliant the twists and turns are.
Yes, it is one of those movies that is just
so refreshing.
you go
too.
on thinking it's one thing, and then you come out wondering what the heck just happened.
And the first half, you think it's one thing, and then the second half, it just jumps out at you. And I mean, well, we already know that. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen this movie by now. And also, I'd fuck like half the cast.
Oh, the cast is just phenomenal.
Yeah, best ensemble of the year, I think.
Park So Dumb. Here's my phone number.
Choyo Jung, I am free on Wednesday.
Not much else we can say about Parasite that hasn't already been said.
I mean, like, holy shit.
It is just a perfect movie.
It is. It legitimately is. As close to perfect as you could get. And, like, holy fuck. Production design, film editing, ensemble, everything about this movie is incredible. It really
is remarkable.
And like the way it shifts,
it's like the perfect thriller.
The way it shifts its genres is like so masterful.
I know, it is just so incredible.
Like dark comedy, thriller, horror. It's so insane. The way it all unfolds, you're glued to the screen the entire time. I mean, I fucking love Marriage Story. I love Little Women. I love Irishman. Parasite's on another goddamn level.
Oh man.
And
it is like, just
it affected
unbelievable.
Me so much more in second watch too.
Yeah.
And like that ending hit, I was like, fuck.
And like that combined with the other three I just mentioned, I think those four movies alone make 2019 the best year for cinema of this entire decade. Yeah. Without question. 2014 has come close. 2010 is close. This is just the best. It's the best.
It is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So that's our top 10s of the year.
This whole
yeah.
Thank you all
I have
for joining us.
Park So Dom's character from God. Okay, I have it. Never mind.
No. Say it.
No, I was gonna briefly just like as like a little quip point out that I have a theory that Park So Dom's character in Parasite's lesbian, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Ooh.
I know it's out of nowhere, but I've been thinking about it in my head. I don't know why, but Bong Joon-ho confirmed that shit. He's not watching this.
Bong Joon-ho.
Can you imagine if he actually listened?
That would be awesome.
Bong Joon-ho, if you're listening to this, please make the Barbie musical with Adam Sandler as Ken.
Yes. Heck, make a movie with Adam Sandler in general. Just do it.
Yeah.
I barely said anything about Parasite we're talking about. I mean, like, I really can't think of anything else to say. Like, everything else has been said.
What else can you say that hasn't already been said?
What can you? I literally can't think of anything that has been said. Like, everything about this movie's already been analyzed by everyone, and there's literally nothing new for me to say other than I loved it so much more in second watch, and I appreciated it so much more, and I was able to finally see true love for it.
So there you go. There is our top 10s of 2019. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We are happy to be back after this long ass hiatus. Well, thank you. Good night. And good night.
Thank you all so much for watching.
Wash your fucking hands.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your motherfucking hands.
During this pandemic, I love you all.
Yes, please stay safe.
By the time this podcast is dropped, it'll probably not be as bad.
Hopefully.
It'll
be recording.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it probably won't be. Let's be honest. The cases will start dropping eventually.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Anyway, see y'all.
See ya.